Holy shit. It's Friday. And that means we're going to go over hand history. So we're going to start with a hand history from Brian. And once we look at how Old Lady Passive plays, we're going to look at how the solver plays this. I made a custom solve for this particular hand. So go ahead, Brian. Let's
Okay.
go through the hands.
So we got tens in the cutoff. I believe I was either cutoff or button. I don't remember specifically. But all I know is I was in position and she was an early position limper. So we have a couple of limps. I don't like my size. I like a bigger size here. I think that just in general, after playing more and more, I think I should be going bigger here just to, I have a strong hand. They're not going to fold, so let's make them put more money in pre-flop.
Well, I think
So
your goal here is to get heads up, which you do here. And
that
I
as
put
well. Yeah.
so the default would be 5x, so that would be to 10 plus the two limpers, so that gets you to 15. So this is kind of like the default that poker coaching teaches. But live, I think you are on the right track. I think using 20 here is better live because I think it's going to get you heads up more often.
So actually, I think poker coaching default is 3x then all the money that's in the pot. Um, as of recently going through masterclass and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like that. So
Maybe
it
in
would
my
be
maybe my so it's like so 3x would be $6.
6, 8, 10, 12, 13, and then you would just size up to 15 there just because.
Six. And okay. All right. Oops. All right. Go ahead.
Wait, generally, yeah, because if it was 5x, it'd be 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. I would say I definitely need to go to 20 then. But yeah, so I think I can ISO bigger here. But we end up I think it's just ISO bigger just to get more money in with a good hand and to make sure we get it heads up, which isn't always going to happen, especially when there's this early position limper. They're generally going to call, but this time they fold and the person in between folds, so we get a pretty good flop. And as you know, I do some some Hungry Horse play live, but I adjust to. So I'm going to see bet somewhat small. I mean, I guess yeah, it's a little bit less than half pot. I think here solver, I think would probably solver does this is like a weird spot because this isn't really a solver spot to
Solver
be
likes
in.
your size. Just a spoiler. Solver only uses your size. I
Really, it
give
doesn't
it
go
like
bigger ever.
five sizes and it only use this size.
I
It's
would have thought it would go a
because
bit bigger
we'll
sometime.
look at it, but it's because you just have a massive range advantage here. It's like your your equity range versus range is 60%, hers is 40 in theory. So that say you're going to use a small size across your entire range. This is kind of a range bet board.
I would have
Um,
thought this is
for the
like
solver.
this is gonna be a like 60% check or 60% bet, 40% check board, at least from what I've gone through with the master class. A lot of Jack high ends up being that way. But
So,
it can be
well,
different with the flush draw and the straight draw.
you're betting. This is in theory, this is a small bet, 75%. But that all you, these ranges are very different. This is more like a three bet range, right? Because
Hmm.
she's lacking the very top of her range and has middling hands. You've got an uncapped range, and the ranges are denser because even though it's an ISO pot, so ranges are bigger. It's not a three bet pot. You still have
Okay.
such a significant range advantage that you're going to range bet essentially in position here. And
Okay.
so
Well,
this is very different than SRP when you look at range versus range because of the amount of combos involved and because she's capped because she doesn't have aces, eight, queen, kings and queens and ace king.
hmm so I agree with a lot of what Hungry Horse does. So I tend to range bet in position heads up, not when it starts to go multi-way, I start to adjust a lot. But here I was gonna pretty much range bet anyways. Just because I do like his idea. They do tend on a board like this, two pairs are gonna start to raise off. Pocket sixes are going to start to raise off. Shouldn't really have jacks, but she is passive, so it's possible for her to have, some pocket jacks. Some ace jack might start to raise, but unlikely because she's pretty passive.
Mhm.
So um, I bet small. We get called. And she gets called. I'm trying to condense her range into, some tens, some jacks, possibly even some sixes, like a six. Um, there are some draws, obviously, tons of draws that, like nine, eight, um, seven, eight, queen, king, queen, stuff like that. Her draws that are straight draws, I would put more towards the like king, queen side. Um, because I think she limps strong hands, but then just calls. Her raising range included jacks, queens. I never saw her raise ace king, but I know that she does open raise with queens and jacks and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I would say she doesn't have jacks. But I didn't see that till after this hand, so I couldn't rule out jacks till after this hand.
Okay,
So the seven comes, which is I don't think it's a terrible card, but when she donks, just knowing like um, tendency wise, I think I should, being a more passive player, I don't think she's gonna donk as many draws. So I think that this could be hands like two pair or hand straights that got there. Um, I think this
well,
is
the question
monsters
I
under
would
the
ask,
bed though, and I think that just in general, I have a very strong hand. I have good odds to boat, a decent odds to boat up, and I should just be raising, but she donks,
all
and
right, question for the group. At what frequency will you vote up, turn the river?
so we got three, nine, 10. We got like 10 outs to boat up, so pretty much like
20.
20%.
Yeah, exactly, 20%.
So
So yeah,
it,
so this is also interesting in solver. And I think we'll look at it. I'll let you go to the hand, but solver fast plays a lot here.
okay.
It might be because of the SPR, which after she bets is around two, a little less than two. But we'll look at it. It's interesting. Well, she doesn't donk a lot, and she doesn't donk on this card, but still we'll look at it. And it's an interesting play that it chooses here.
I think this is my main mistake though. So I think that here, when she donks for 15, I don't think it's strong. I think it could be that, so like exploitatively, usually they donk when they make hands, but they donk to a larger size.
Well,
So I,
knowing the result, it's kind of an interesting play, and not many people are going to find it. I don't.
yeah,
I mean, she got what she wanted, right? She saw she saw River with a draw with uh a small price, and so the way and so you've got third nuts. So I think here, when someone makes this play, I can understand wanting to keep them in, but I think we have to look at textures, right? So let's look at texture. Is this a wet or dry board?
wet.
It's wet, somewhat dynamic, but more importantly, it's wet. So I think when a board is this wet, I think we want to charge balls.
I agree. And I think that just purely live exploitatively, when she makes this $15, I think if she raised here to like 45 or 50, that's significant in this
Yeah,
game. And I think that's when I need to just be calling. Um,
agreed. So you'll see that a lot in solver. Solver generally does not have, excuse me, does not have in position raises, check raises more, but its check raise is very sensitive to sizing,
yes.
right? So its check raising frequency will go up a shit ton if there's a small bet, especially like if it's a small range bet, it will check raise a lot more than if it's a big bet. So when she's using this small bet, I think we have to react to it with our very strong hands by raising. Because look how much we get to charge here. We get to charge any
I was gonna,
nine, we get to charge any eight, we get to charge any spades, get to charge any hearts.
and I
Uh,
was gonna, so I was in between check raising monsters and calling. And I think that check raising monstrous is the play. Like I was gonna check raise here, or not check raise. It's not check raise. It's a regular raise. I was gonna raise here to like pretty close to 100
yeah,
and
I think
make
what
her
you,
pay the maximum to see that last card.
yeah, I think you want to make it a price that makes it not profitable.
Yeah, and that puts her in a
So,
position to make the wrong play because she can't call with a flush draw when I raise to 100. She shouldn't
so
call.
right now the pot is 82, right? After she bets. So if you make it like,
And I don't even think 100. I think I can just jam on her because she's short.
I think I like 75 here, but I think 100 doesn't matter. But 60 to 75, I think is good. But I could see what 100's fine. And you want to charge your draws on this very, very wet board, I think.
Yeah. And
Because the way
I
to
think
look at
my
it, I think,
read's
so
raw.
Scotty talks about this a lot. The way to look at it is if she's on a draw, she's not going to call river anyway. So you want to get money now. And if she
Yeah.
has like a jack, she's probably going to call. If she's got air, she's going to fold river anyway. So you want to charge now
And I think I should
because
just be in the mindset of if she has a 9, I'm just getting stacked.
80% of the time, 20% of the time, you're going to boat up.
Yeah. Well, that's what, yeah. I mean, I should be okay with getting stacked in that situation and
I
just
think
be
you should
making it
always
huge.
get, I think you should be okay with getting stacked with the secondary, yeah. So yeah, so I think in the future, a good choice is to raise here. The only question is big. I think any place between 75 to 100 bucks is fine. I
I think
mean, and
go ahead.
you want her to call. I mean, she calls with a draw. You want her to call with a draw, but you want the price to be unprofitable. You don't want to deny equity, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So so you have to decide what that price is. I would say closer to 75 bucks. But I think maybe 100 bucks, 150, maybe well, 150, she's all in. 150, 100 bucks maybe prices are out. You want to give her a price where she's gonna call with unprofitably. I think that's around 75, 60 to 75, frankly. But anyway, all right.
Let me do it real quick. I think
So she's
that
got 18% equity, right? Pot is 82 after she bets.
well, that's
She,
assuming
if you
she's
make
not
it
on a combo.
75, she's got to call 60. So her equity requirement is 42%. She's got 80%. She's got 18%. So I think around 75. I think I like around 75.
Okay.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
I like I like 100 because I think there's a lot of players that will make mistakes here and call
Yeah, I think so.
more and more. Like if she's on a combo, she's not folding. So she's
So
on
if
a
you make it
combo
100,
draw.
you're essentially giving her,
I'm trying to make her make the worst possible decision.
if you give her 100, then
And I'm not going to
her
get paid
pot
on the
odds
river.
are maxed out at 51%. You know, pot odds will go above 50%, essentially.
And yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to
I
get
mean, I think
paid
that's
on the
fine. I mean,
river
yeah,
here
just
if
I think the takeaway is that the big takeaway is, we don't have to go into the weeds with sizing, but big takeaway is that with this strong a hand on this wet a texture, I think you want to charge now.
the biggest problem here is I ranged her wrong. It's the first time I've ever played with her too, so I don't know how she plays specifically, but I was going off of population here that when they donk, but I didn't look into the sizing enough. If she donked larger, I think I just call, but when she donks to $15, I have to raise here. It's not strong. It's I want to get to the showdown cheap as possible. I'm putting $15 in and hoping you just call instead of having because they've watched me bet. They've seen that I don't like the only person at the table that like most people bet 15 and then they bet 20 and then they bet 25. Like I bet I'll start off with like a small bet and then my next bet is not small at all. My next bet will be not all the time, but when I bet to large sizes to make them get maximum value from players. So I think that this here is I need to be thinking like, okay, well, she bets big here. Sometimes she just binked a straight, and that sucks, and I get stacked. And sometimes I boat up and stack her, and then sometimes and when she bets small here, it's likely her trying to get to see the river cheaply, and I need to be raising maximum here to put her in, make her make mistakes. So
Yeah, I, I, I think you want to be aware of textures, right? So if this was king 7 2 2 rainbow, incredibly dry, she makes us bet. We could think about trapping. But when we have a texture this wet, we want to think about fast playing. Right? I
the
think
problem here,
I think there's some texture driven issues. So if you had like, if this was
Hmm.
king 7 and you had 7 7s, king 7 2 2, then maybe we trap. But this wet,
yeah, this is just a total blunder. I mean,
yeah, I
this
don't.
is so it's very poor.
Anyway, all right. So I think the takeaways here for me is be aware of texture and be aware of what her bet size is telling you. All right.
And then it's lay your fucking hand down on the river is your fucking the most obvious draw gets there. The only reason that got me here was that, which is stupid. This doesn't make sense when you think about it. Is okay, she donked into me on the turn. If she hit a straight and I called, she's not gonna love this river. Um, and then she checks to me. So I'm starting to think, okay, like she probably has a straight more than a flush, because I don't think just I don't know her, but generally the types of players are going to just bet big here because they're scared it's checking through when they hit the flush. So generally, I'm thinking she's got a straight or a weak jack, and I don't really love or some sort of jack or two pair, which I don't even think two pair. I think two pair goes check raises me on the flop. Um, so I don't like my bet here because against that range, which I think is more weighted towards either, I just didn't, I really, my read was completely off. I read it as she hit, but I need to look into the sizing more is the problem. The problem is the sizing there. Sizing would be bigger if she hit the straight. So, number one thing. But she checks to me, and I am like, I have strong hand. I bet being a fucking idiot. And I bet 50.
I don't think it's a mistake to bet here.
I don't
I
think
think,
so either.
but
I
I think you have to, it's not a blunder to bet here, but
think I have
I
to fold.
think you have to in your head, even though you have to call off essentially the pot is now 302 and you got to call off $100. You're being offered
Getting,
25%. Um,
and I'm not good 25% of the time. I'm
I think you have to have, I think when you make this bet and then you look at this texture and you say to yourself, all right, I've got to value bet here, but I need to overfold to a check raise.
I don't. Moral of story of my life. I don't overfold when I need to. I'm working on it, getting a little bit better. I made some good folds yesterday, but
So we talked about it that one way to think about this is to prepare yourself, right? To mentally
yeah.
prepare yourself. So when you make your bet here on river, I can't, I have to value bet this, but I need to fold to a shove. Like you say it, yeah, I need to, I'm going to value bet this, but I need to fold to a shove.
Yeah.
Even though the pot odds are going to be ridiculous, you know, you're getting off at 25%. You need to fold to a shove.
Yeah. I mean, it's the number one. I think it's my number one leak is that when they're telling me they have a great hand, I'm not listening to them
I
when
mean,
because I
well,
just
the
keep
other way
getting
to look at
stacked
this
on set.
is, the other way to look at this is first principles, right? So you say to yourself, all right, this is a fortune reversal using Peter Clark words. This is a fortune reversal. What is my hand? Is my hand now a bluff catcher or does it beat value?
It's a bluff catcher against a player that doesn't bluff.
It's a bluff catcher and it's an incredibly under bluff line. So we just fold.
Yep.
Recreational players are literally never,
Never.
ever, ever check raise bluffing the river, especially on a board like this.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Ever. It's never, ever a bluff.
I think I blundered turn and absolutely just I sat here. The worst thing is that I know I'm sitting here like I'm beat and I call and I need part of it too is that I keep getting fucking stacked on sets and it's pissing me off and I'm like, I gotta win with the set eventually. I'm being stupid. I need to stop thinking like that. It needs to be, okay, I know this is just never a bluff and I have to just sit. I lost a bunch of money in this pot, but I need to just cut my losses now and get out of here.
Yeah,
But
I think the tools are, and what does she have? She has king seven.
king five of spades.
So I think the tools that I use, and
Hmm.
other people may have ideas. Hey, Andy,
Okay.
are mentally preparing yourself.
I think I
So
need to
when I
slow
make
down.
this value bet and I look at this very wet, unpleasant run out for my tens for my set, I say I got a value bet here. Value not value betting is a blunder, but if she shoves, I've got to fold. Like I say it in my head before I make the bet, and it makes it a lot easier for me to get there when it happens because it's not a shock. It's like,
Agree with Scotty 100%. I've done that quite a bit where when I'm making a bet where I think if there's a chance I'm going to get raised or like it's thin value like this, I'll tell myself before I bet this is a bet fold.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
well, where you look at it.
And
I think
that
I
way
just
it's
need to
already like my mind is already made up before I even bet that it's a bet. And for some reason, like mentally, I don't have to go through the mental gymnastics of like even when like a situation like this where you bet you get check raise jammed by a rec player, it's never ever a bluff, but you're like, well, fuck, I have a set, and what if they're overplaying? What if she called a six and then spike with 6-7? Like what you don't have to play any of the what ifs. It's all right, I already made up my mind. This is a bet fold. I bet she check raise jammed, I fold.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's
One
let's
last
go
thing I would
ahead,
also
Buzzin.
like to say there is, let's say we had pocket sevens there. At least she would have a chance to have Jack 10. And if you would say she's never check jamming for value Jack 10 in the spot on the river. Yeah,
no, I
it's
don't.
no.
I think people underplay two, and then the only time it's pretty much always the nuts whenever they
Yeah,
jam.
yeah, and then it's very clear fold, I guess.
All right, so let's go to the hand for people who are just here real quick. So, Brian ISOs gets called by a passive old lady. He bets small flop. She weirdly donks on this card. Start. We're gonna look at it in solver. Solver has some donks, but very few, and it's not on this card. So the solver
Wow.
might be wonked after this, anyway. But then check, value bet, shove. All right. So you guys see the solve?
Uh,
Yes.
All right. So I made a solve for this hand. These are the ranges I gave. This is out of position. I made her a little less passive than you have. I gave her partials of very top of range here. And then we're on the right, we're the imposition player. So on this texture, we just are dominating, all right? We're the green line. This is the linear equity graph.
Yeah.
We're just really just doing really, really well here on this texture. I think we're gonna do really well on most textures because she doesn't have the top of her range. We do. Just like our 3-bet pot, right? Or similar, not just like, but similar. Not like a 3-bet pot in the sense that ranges are a little wider. Solver really likes your size. Now, the question is why solver likes your size. I gave it tons of sizing here to choose from. Pot's 37. And it likes this, essentially, this is like what, a 40% bet. It likes it because you're, in theory, you've got a massive range advantage, right?
Yeah.
When you have a massive range advantage, it wants to bid everything. The only thing it's not betting are its second pairs. And interestingly, top pair, good kicker, and jack nine. But everything else, it's betting, it's betting range here. So, you can see it here. This is like a city grab. It's betting the top of range, which your hand is gonna be the top of the range here. Right now, you've got like, you can see on the right here, you've got like 90% equity. Your hand is really, really valuable. And then it's got this middle range that's checking back. Where it's got like 70% equity, which is like the queen jacks. Second pairs, here are all the second pairs. And then because you have such a massive a range advantage, it's got a really, really large small bet with the bottom of its range, right? It's betting at the bottom of its range, it's betting a shit ton, like king nine, ace five, doesn't have much going on. So ace five is like what, 26% equity. So it's we can call this a range bet, I think. And then I think the one thing we take away is that it likes to check its marginal equity, which is like the tens. So you bet 15. Now this is where it gets interesting too. She now, if we focus on her flush draws, well, she's fast playing her sets. She's fast playing her jack 10. And she is with her flush draws. Let's focus on those. It likes a lot of fast plays here. It wants to get the money in. I think it's got a very robust check raise frequency. I think it's because you're range betting. Because you're range betting at 76%, it gets to raise a lot. Bet
Okay.
15,
So what's a hand we could put her on what? King
20% all in, and yeah, we can give her like king three. She's got some other flush draws,
which
like
is
ace
not
six. And then, but it likes to fast play. It's even down here, 6-5, it's not. 7-6, it's not. She has to fold a ton too to the small size, but, 6 is its fast play. Bluffs, a lot of top pair, it's fast playing a lot. Top pair, top kicker. Calling. So she calls. Now this is, so down here at the bottom, you guys see this at the bottom here where my cursor is?
yeah.
These are the donks, right? So I gave her donk size. It doesn't donk on her, it donks on her card, but only if it's completing the flush. If it completes the flush and the straight, it donks. And not very often.
So what, like an 8 of spades does as well, I'm assuming.
Like, yeah, so an 8 of spades does as well. And then it likes to dunk on repeat tens and repeat jacks.
Well, wouldn't it have been nice if I got a repeat 10? And she
Yeah.
donked into it. That would have been pretty nice.
But it doesn't really dunk much. So it's gonna kind of break the solver here when we use this. But we'll go with it anyway. So what we'll do is we'll give it two hands here. We'll give it a card that it likes to donk on, and then we'll give it a card. The card that we'll start with the card that came in the game. Set of
Yeah, man.
hearts.
Gotta relive this blunder.
All right, so yeah, she just doesn't, but now this is interesting. We are now fast playing. It likes to fast play, right? So your hand, which has 82% equity, has less equity now because it's straight game mode. It's
What
the eight
size
to
you would
nine
like?
game mode, but it likes to dunk. It likes to go 4x. Likes to raise 60. But once it gets above 60 in its head, like in Solverland, it doesn't make sense to not use anything but an all-in because they essentially are pot committed.
Mhm.
So, but exploitatively, I don't think that matters. I think you can use a smaller size and she's not going to think like that. But it says, well, if I use like 100, does the stack is the pot is 170, so it doesn't make sense for me to use 100 because that's just essentially opening her all in, saying different. So it doesn't go there. It just uses a 60 as its biggest size, but it uses the 60 bucks a lot. And it's doing that with, I think, all of its range. So if we look at here, we look here. Yeah, we can see it down here. Like it's doing it a lot with its top of range, which includes your hands, right? Your hand, queen, queen. You're at the very
What's it do?
top here.
Jacks.
Jacks are also not slow playing.
Hmm.
Do you see the jacks on the right here?
Yeah. That's what I do
Yeah.
see
So
that they do
jacks,
tend to slow play more, but not on this board. They would not.
no, I think the texture's so wet. What is what's going on here?
Yeah.
I think the texture's super wet, so it's fast playing.
This
Where
is
its
just
bluffs coming
so
from,
bad.
out of curiosity. Its bluffs are coming from like nines. Blocking the straight makes sense. Nines. I don't think I'm finding it, but you can see why it's using it. Eights. It likes to block, it likes to like the made hand that she's claiming when she donks.
Yeah.
So it,
It makes sense.
yeah, it makes total sense. I mean,
That's my whole reasoning for not raising, but my thought process is so backwards there. I hate it, especially with the small sizing. If she bet big, I can justify the call more often, but when she bets so tiny like that, I need to raise. Ugh,
yeah, yeah,
it
I
makes me.
agree.
I hate bringing this to
Well,
the group, but I needed it.
well, it's good for all of us, right? I mean, this is a really good lesson for all of us here, especially when we get to deep dive. I mean, you can argue Solver doesn't pertain to humans, but what it does, it gives us a framework in which to talk about a hand.
I'm
And
saying,
then we
yeah,
can
and
talk about stuff like where we find our bluffs if we get here. We could
I'm
talk about what region wants to just call, like open ender, open ender, open ender, open ender, open ender, top pair, king jack wants to just call. Like king jack, we can see,
yeah.
it's really cool to see where it calls from and why that makes sense. Just makes confident sense to just call king jack here.
Well, number one thing here too is that solver and lie and like population completely line up here with the small size. Like sometimes they're different, very different from each other,
Yeah.
where solver won't make raises that I would make that have worked plenty of times, or bluffs that I've made that work plenty of times, or I've gotten people to fold because I know live tendencies. But this one completely lines up where I just have to be raising against this small size. I would say when she bets small, donk small, it's not a super strong hand.
Yeah, with
If
this combo, it doesn't have any slow plays. And I think, again, I don't think it has slow plays because of the texture.
yeah,
Uh, and the texture is just so wet. So your 9-8 wants to get value from her flush draws.
does she donk any of her top pairs on the say like if it turned a
Call
flushing
turn
turn?
here. So let's
Yeah,
say,
like
so
because what
you call. So these are her donks are. So at the bottom, these are all the potential turn cards, right?
Mhm.
All that are left that could come before we choose one. And you can see where the donks are if it's yellow, right?
Mhm.
So does that answer your question? Like what,
I
it sounds
meant
like you're
so
asking
what
what cards she donks on?
so no so say it's the eight of spades if
Alright, so
you
that's a heavy dunk hand. Oh, you want to see what we do?
yeah but if
Uh,
she yeah if she
oh,
get the
that
eight of
is a good
spades
question.
and she donks I want to
So,
see
so the 8 of spades, she's gonna donk. I don't know, 25% of the time.
Mhm.
There. So let's give it the eight of spades here. So the eight of spades is the most interesting card because it completes the flush and the straight, right?
Yeah.
So now what do we do? Now we don't have these crazy bets. Now we're like, so she, oh wait, sorry, this is her. So she bets.
It
We
would
are still
donk.
fast playing sets. We don't care about the straight, even though we gave her full frequency here. Well, I don't, she doesn't get here. Well, this is out of position. Yeah, she gets here almost full with 9-8. So when the 8 comes, she bets. So this is what we're doing here. And we can look at it a couple ways. We can look at here. So your hand is fast playing and it's raised to 45. Let's look at it from equity position. So it's straight flush. Is even raising here. There's no slow play with the straight flush.
All right.
And all flushes are fast playing. In theory. Now the question becomes where our bluffs are. Again, so the bluffs would be like probably like
Ace jack offsuit with the ace of spades,
6,
maybe.
7. 6, 7. Yeah, 6, 7 blocking straights. We don't have very many bluffs there, but we do have some. Obviously, it's always bluffs to solver. King 9. I thought we were going to have some singleton spades down here. Don't have singleton spades. Where are singleton spades? Yeah, they are. There's some singleton spades. It's top pair. And a redraw. That's raising. What are we doing with those singleton spades? So like, let's say ace queen. So the queens are raising and calling. Ace king is interesting, right? So ace king without a spade here is folding, but it's got the singleton spade. It's raising and calling. And it's fast playing. It's nuts. Well, it's not the nuts, jack nuts. Queen nine's the nuts. And then queen 9 is fast playing. Yeah.
What is was nine of spades never donking on a 9 of spades turn? I could be wrong here.
Say it again.
On 9 of spade, yeah, he was right. I was wondering, Bose or Bob said 9 of spades is never donking, is a board that never gets donked, which is kind
None,
of
yeah,
weird.
the 9s never get dumped.
Yeah, I just thought maybe it blocks too many of the flush combos that out of position can have. Because he has king 9, queen 9, jack 9.
I mean, she's not donking much, right? So there's not many cards that result in a donk. I mean, it's repeat jack, repeat 10. You know, she has a lot of jack. I guess she has a lot of jacks of 10. She defends this way. And then it's these are weird because they complete the straight and they complete the flush. So they get in the donk world.
Yeah, the 9 does the same, right? The 9 would complete a straight and the flush.
I think it could be because there's
Maybe
not as many of
because
her
we
straights.
have king queen more.
Well, go back
That's
to
kind of what
her
I was just
original
thinking, because
range.
we have king queen more, we have the 9 blocks a lot more of our completions than it.
Yeah.
With the
We
9,
have,
you need less protection.
I
I'm
mean, it
trying to
comes,
look real quick.
so the other way to look at this is to look at it like in the linear equity graph, like you want to get really geeky. So right now, when you call, this is where we are, right? Then if we give her, so you're green, you've got nut advantage here. She called, so she's got something, so she has a little bit of equity now. Turn. Now let's
Surprised
give her some
ace of spades
cards.
doesn't donk.
So 7 of comes here. And this brings in the straight. So now we're kind of like in this interesting spot where we now kind of share the nuts. But let's make, now what card were we asking about? The 9.
9 spades.
9 of spades. I like this little
That's
ability
cool.
that he did. So the 9 of spades is, and we now share the nuts. It doesn't really give a clear answer as to what, who has nut advantage. We essentially share nut advantage, it looks like.
I have a question. Maybe I haven't gotten there yet in experience and on the masterclass or whatever, but what makes like why? Because 90% of the time you're almost always checking to the pre-flop aggressor, especially after they bet. When, like, why is there good spots to donk and why are there bad spots?
Well, in an SRP, the theory is that a good spot to donk would be when nut advantage is with this is on flop. Nut advantage on flop goes to the out of position flatter. And that would mean that there is a straight available that the out of position player has that the in position player cannot have. So
So wouldn't
you
that
have
be?
access to peak,
I
right?
mean,
I
in
have like a
position
couple
has a
hands.
lot of 8-9 from the cutoff, though. Like in position still has that, and it's still gonna bet that at a 8-9 at a decent frequency, right?
Yeah, well, we're talking about like in theory, right?
So in theory, though, why doesn't I would think that Ace of Spades would be a good card for them to donk on because that does shift out a lot of my. I should have less flushes there.
Are we talking about turn donks or are we talking about flop donks?
Uh, Either one. I'm specifically talking about the turn here because
Well, okay, so I mean, so we'll let you could break it down like this. So you have access to peak, right?
yeah, I have a couple of hands that I can do like every
Well,
day.
well, let's look at an ag report and peak. So I'm gonna stop sharing and can you, if you bring up peak, do you mind bringing up peak?
Yep, I'll put it up. Let me
All
load
right.
it.
So, and I think, well, no, forget it. Peak doesn't have donks. Never mind, forget it. We
Peak
can't do it.
has zero
I
donks,
forgot it doesn't
and
have
we
donks.
can't do much custom on peak yet.
Yeah, that's kind
Yeah.
of why I was wondering because
All
most
right.
places you don't see donks almost ever.
So a donk
We just
happens
need-
essentially when the card so dramatically shifts equity to the out of position player that they now are incentivized to bet because in theory, in position will check a lot of their range because that card in turn is very bad for them. So I was going to use so if you in GTO Wizard, if you gave it a flop of 5, 6, 7 rainbow, UTG versus big blind on flop, big blind's gonna have some donks. And it's gonna have some donks because it has against UTG, it has the straights, and UTG does not have the straights, right? Better
Yeah.
example is 4, 5, 6. So UTG opens, it doesn't have 8, 7 suited. You're the only one who possesses 8, 7 suited in big blind. That means you've got a massive nut advantage. Because you have the nut advantage, that's going to give you in turn donks.
Okay.
So
Well, that's my thing here is that is it like I'm saying my question is more based just around the Ace of Spades because the Ace of Spades should be a better card technically for should give her more of a nut advantage
well,
than
let's look.
me.
Let's see what happens on the ace of spades.
But I should check a lot of aces on the flop from what I saw. So it would be weird. So technically I shouldn't have an ace there. So that should mean I didn't make top pair and all of her flushes. She should have more flushes than me. Or specifically the out of position player.
Oh, okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Can you guys see the all?
Yes.
Okay, so let's compare. So when she calls, right? So initially we know this. You've got a massive equity advantage. We look at the graphs. You on this flop, you're dominating. When you bet and she calls, we get to the turn. That's now changed because she's got something. So now it's a jump ball range versus range, right? This is the range that she check calls with. This is the range that you bet. The interesting thing that's happened here in theory is that she's filtered because she folded out a shit ton here. She folded out 22, she folded out 60% of hands to the small bet, which is a massive overfold. And she did that because you've got a massive range advantage. So now when we get here to turn, and we look at the graph, and we look at compare, she's got a filtered range, right? She's got 49 combos. See where it says combos here?
Yep.
But you've got 129 combos because you range bet. You bet 75% of your range. She's filtered. So what happens now is that in theory, it's a jump ball. So it's a jump ball hand, equity versus equity. And if you look at the linear equity graph, you still have a massive range advantage. And she has down here, she's got something she's matching you with, but you still have the range advantage. So the question was about ace of spades specifically. Well, so we know now where this is before a card comes, right? Remember this. You've got range advantage. Let's look at different cards and see how it affects the linear equity graph. So let's look at turn, ace of spades. What does that do? Graphs. So she likes that card. She does like that card, but it doesn't give her a turn advantage. It doesn't give her a nut advantage. Right?
Okay.
And if it doesn't give her a nut advantage, she's not going to have donks. Now let's see if I know what I'm talking about, which is I'm going to give myself a jump ball 50-50. Let's now go back to, so this is her. Now let's change this to here. Confirm basics, pair, turn, ace, call. So the card that she donks the most on is the most interesting one is the eight of spades. Let's start with the eight of spades. So this is the eight of spades. We're trying to answer your question about why we donk. So the eight of spades comes. She dunks half the time. Now we look at the graphs. And all of a sudden, she's got this, all of a sudden she's got this little range advantage here, and that might be doing it. But it doesn't totally prove my point. I was expecting this to be a massive shift to her, but it doesn't really shift it to her. What about like and it was like the 10 of clubs, 10 of something. 10 of clubs. Yeah, so again, all of a sudden in this part, you've got this little bit of an advantage here, but not really, because he's got it too. So it doesn't really, I thought what was going to happen on some of these cards is that her blue line was going to just be above your green line at the top here, showing a clear, let's see this, I think that is like, there's not really any card that gives her, let's make it more interesting. Let's make it the spade. So like the ace of spades, like we talked about, jump ball for nut advantage. King of spade. This is not, look at the top, I'm looking at the top right here. So there's a card. So the 6, you're in position equity, doesn't really do it. Look for the blue, yeah, like a 5, jump ball, jump ball, jump ball. So there's no real card that gives her a clear nut advantage, which means she doesn't have like any like massive donk, which it makes sense because she does like here, she doesn't have that much of a donk. A donk strat here. She does a little bit on the jack. She does half the jacks, half the tens. But really, the point I'm trying to make, which didn't work so well with the linear equity graphs, frankly, is that we donk turn when there's a massive equity shift. And then equity shift goes from in position to out of position. So all of a sudden you've got hands that that in position doesn't have that give you the nuts.
Makes sense.
But it's rare. And I don't know if you need to use it. I think frankly, a better choice in those situations is people aren't going to be as aware of the equity shift. So maybe a better choice is to check raise on turn. Anyway, that was a
I
long
don't
speech.
like to check raise with a lot of value because of how much people fold. So I do tend to donk a decent bit whenever, I mean, it could be obviously exploitable, but these players aren't exploiting me, is donking with strong hands because they're going to check their showdown and I can get them to call one bet. But if I check raise them, they're just going to fold out a lot of the time.
Yeah, so I showed a hand where I used that strat, which
Yeah.
blew up in my face on Monday where I ran into someone who flooded
Yeah.
queens. But
Well-
I was, you know, I don't, doesn't mean it's a bad strat. I think it's a good strat. I just happened to run into it. So anyway, all right, let's just run this out as it plays. So turn. And then she doesn't have donks, but we're going to give her one anyway. We went over this. Clearly, solver likes to fast play. And we look at graph. It's fast playing a shit ton. Of course, it's got bluffs because it's the solver. Bluffs are interesting around blocking the straight, the main hand. But your hand definitely, your tens are definitely up there. So it wants to fast play it wants to raise her to $60 or $45. So, but we call. So this is kind of break it though, because we don't really have any flats here. But let's call. Anyway. And then the 4 of spades. So I don't think, yeah, she doesn't, excuse me, she's just gonna check range here. But we're really off the solver. This really isn't a solve spot anymore. Let's take it. So but anyway, it doesn't really matter because, and then you don't have the tens. Do you have any sets? You don't have, yeah, you don't have sets now. You've got like, you're only betting, essentially you're only betting at this point. You're only value betting a flush,
Yeah.
but you
Well-
don't have your sets. We don't know what your sets would do here.
A true blunder.
Yeah, so, but, you know, I think the big takeaway for me from this is that let's beat this, let's beat this solve to death. So here, go back here. Here one does this. Let's see if it works. So we call.
Well, real quick,
There we go.
whenever you were, we'll wait till the end, actually. Go ahead.
All right, let's give her the most donkable card. Let's say it's the closest is a 7 of hearts. Let's give the 7 of spades. So the flush comes in. She gets some donks now. We can see because she's got a little bit of donks. She bets the donk size. Yeah, you just fast play. Your equity now is reduced, but you just fast play.
There's a portion that just calls, so click on the call real quick.
A portion of
Tens. You can see
you
there's the tiniest sliver of a call, it looks
do
like.
call with 1.8% of the time when you have.
Yeah, I just want to see what it does on the, I mean, the river either way. I know I need to fold, but
Well, I see your point. So 4 of spades. She does not have what this is what she did, right? She checks. Okay, so what can you value bet? That's the question. Given this line, what can you value bet? Well, it's all going to be dependent on what she was donking up here. Is she ever donking a flush up here? That's the first question. Is she ever donking a
Even
flush?
Even look at Jacks though. Jacks checks back.
So she's
Oh, wait,
donking
never mind.
flushes here. So it does, so she's gonna have some flushes here in theory. She checks. Where's your value threshold? Your value threshold is going, so 1, 2, 3. Your value threshold is not, you have tens and you are mostly checking, sometimes betting. Betting 50 is what you have. So if you bet 50 and she goes all in, your
I
tens
just
are folding.
fold. Yep.
Action EV. It is a very, very bad fold. Bad call.
Oh yeah.
So, so, yeah, but I think really here, the question becomes, she bets, she donks, we call, the river brings in 4 to a flush. She checks. The most interesting question is, where is our value threshold? So ace of spades nuts, king of spade, queen of spade. So we are very, very careful here. We are not, even though she's got a capped range, we have 70% equity. We are not betting with the queen of spades. We can look at this in the, yeah, we can see it here. So we've got bluffs, right? Of course. Really, but really our value threshold here in solver land, when it takes this line, our value threshold really is king of spades.
Yeah.
So I think you gotta go, you gotta channel your Larry and go knit as fuck here.
I'm working on it, Larry. I'm trying. That's my biggest problem is
Well, I
like
also have to channel Brian and be a little bit more aggressive, frankly.
well,
But here on this
it's
particular
true.
river, 4 to a flush, you wanna go knit, and you really only wanna value bet your ace king and your king of spades. Everything, and so I mean, it's really fucking nitty here, solver, on this line,
It should be.
and it's
I mean,
like,
that's with a 4 flush though.
it's not even value betting all of its king of spades.
Go to
Definitely not
go
value
to
betting queen of spades.
the one thing I did want to see that's somewhat comparable, but not really, is the way the straight reacts to. It's like if you go to the turn and make that the 7 of hearts.
All right, so this is 7 of hearts.
Yes. And then so then here, what makes this straight? We have straights, right? We have 9-8.
9-8
Oh no,
is
she has 9-8. The
9-8
question
is
is,
the straight.
so let's say she donks, do the donk.
Yeah, well, she doesn't really have dunks here, so this is kind of a scuffed.
Yeah, I guess it puts us in it. So
It
yeah,
doesn't,
we have
I do not, I don't want to trust this because it just doesn't
yeah.
really, it doesn't really do it, right? I mean, it's not, I don't trust that it solved this
Yeah,
entirely.
that the position I was looking for isn't there anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, the question I would have is if she checks here. Now let's, her donk is unusual, but if she checks here. Where's our value threshold to bet? And we can see we're
I'm
betting,
betting.
we're still betting a shit ton, right?
Yeah, I was not gonna slow down. When she donked into me is when I was like, what the hell is going on right now?
The 7 of hearts doesn't bring in any hands that she dunks with. So, yeah, you don't slow down on this card. And you use, pot is 170, it wants to use 50. I should have given it bigger sizes, actually.
Pot shouldn't be that
No,
large,
pot
should it?
is 67.
Pot,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
pot
pot is
shouldn't be that
67,
large.
sorry. Stacks behind is 170, pot is 67. Oh, it's just a
Yeah.
test, you guys are paying attention.
So I was gonna, I mean, plan wise, obviously didn't get there, was to then continue to bet, not over bet, but bet pretty
Yeah, so
large,
you've
like
got,
50.
it doesn't care to straight, you've got 85% equity with your sets there.
I was
Your
trying to,
overpairs have less, so you're like still betting your overpairs. Let's try to see where your value threshold is. This is interesting because you've got such a range advantage here that you're still betting way down. Like this is all bluffy shit. Like ace king, bluffing, 26% equity. It doesn't really like usually we see a more polar strat where we have a lot of betting down here, a lot of betting up here, but it's going pretty far down in your value to like queen jack, open ender.
Yeah, I also think I see in queen 10, which is interesting.
We don't have queen 10. Oh, queen 10 suited we
Suited.
have.
Hmm.
Yeah, queen 10, it's betting,
Oh,
but
it's
it's not betting. Queen 10's
Oh,
right
it's
on the
hearts.
edge, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Also, it's hearts.
yeah, queen 10 hearts is the only one that gets there. Queen 10 it must be doing other things with, it's probably checking back queen 10 here. Yeah, it's checking back queen 10.
Well, double blunder. For me.
Yeah, I mean, so I really like it. I think the most interesting play here is when this is like here. Call. When she takes the donk, like 8 of spades is the most common. No, there's a 7, right? There's a 7 of spades. So I think the most interesting uh play here is the fast play on turn.
What's the, it was the 45, right? For the 10.
Yeah, it likes to use 45. So the pot is 67. She bets 15. It likes to 4x it to 45.
Okay.
I think that's the most interesting part of this. All
Yeah.
right. Anything else you want to see? Or did we beat this solve into the ground?
I think we beat it to the ground. Question is, do you guys want to see me get crushed again, or what do you guys want to see? Because I got a lot of options here for me getting
Let's
crushed.
see you crush.
I have a couple. I don't. The hands that are really straightforward, where I just collect, I don't usually put in because I run the solve myself, and I know I played it fine. But what we can do one where I make a pretty decent bluff when the guy shows me what he put. He showed me. Can't remember what he showed me, but I know he showed me a hand that had me beat.
Hey, Dean, I see your question in chat. Did you see everything you wanted to see? Do you want to see anything else on turn?
Oh, sorry, I can stop sharing. My bad.
No worries. I just saw Dean had a question. I was from like 10 minutes ago. I was asking if he wanted to look at anything, but that's no worries. Dean's OG. Dean's my original study partner. Back in the fucking day, man. Pre-COVID, we used to get together and go over hands.
The OG. So here I have pocket twos under the gun. Right now I'm considering adjusting my strategy in these positions. But I
Well,
limped
so
here.
your rake is 10% $5 cap?
$6 cap.
Yeah, you can raise this, but you don't have to play this hand. It depends on, I would play this hand if I have a very passive table that's not gonna three bet me a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of why I dislike this more.
Yeah.
But he has a straddle on the button, so I didn't raise.
Oh,
I'm
you were
calling.
straddle. Oh, sorry.
This is
Straddle's
a
on.
this is a straddle. A lot of straddle pats just get called through, and you're able to see the flop. Um,
So
so
you straddled on UTG.
no, he straddled on the button. So I don't remember what these players do. I don't. These players fold, but that's so like
Okay, so you could
they
straddle.
technically.
Where can you straddle in your game, by the way?
I can straddle on the button and under the gun.
Okay, so there's a just so you know, there's a setting for button straddle in the hand replayer,
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
and you can add a straddle. In the
Oh,
replayer.
okay. So
For next
I
time.
just put it in like this so that I remember that this is a straddle pot and I did not open here. So
No
I
worries.
just
So you call.
yes, and then with this guy is likely he's like 50-50. He might raise, he might not. He's a pretty aggressive player. I'd seen him raise with some junk and some strong hands. He seemed like one of the better players I've actually run into so far.
So you
So
are. So
I'm under
what's your stack depth here?
I'm deep. He's got like 350. I'm probably deeper than this at this point. So
So you're about 70 big blinds deep with the shuttle here with him.
yes.
Okay.
Um
So
he's got he raises. I do my quick math that I'm getting the odds I need to try and make a set.
I think you are, I think set mining is profitable here if you expect at least one of these callers behind to call.
So what I have 15 more, I need 13 to call, right? So I got the chance of winning what I got 150 plus. Yeah, I mean it's 13. What is it? The 13 rule of
Yeah,
13. I'm
yeah.
technically getting that off of this guy.
13x. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm okay with just calling here.
Yeah, yeah, you got it. You're in. You're in. Good
So
point. All right.
now this guy's very aggressive with bluffs and with value. I've seen him play both very aggressively, so I'm gonna check, and if he bets, I'm just gonna give up, and I'm okay with him just jamming ace king or whatever the hell it is that he has. But this is where I start to think, okay, we might be able to make a play here when he checks, because I've never seen him slow play anything. He made a full house and he did not slow play for 1 second earlier
This is interesting.
in the day.
So what
So-
is this range here that you're putting them on? What is this range you think that that ISO's you, ISO's three people, and then checks on this texture? I have an
think he
idea.
has, I think he has like sevens plus, and then some king, queen, possibly like queen jack suited broadways, offsuit broadways. I think he even has stuff like, ace 10, I would say. I don't think he has any suited connectors really. I think he's just gonna check that and just see the flop with a suited connector.
Yeah,
So
I think ace king here a lot,
yeah,
and I think under pairs.
yeah, under pairs and ace king. And when he checks, I haven't seen him really slow play a trap very often, so ever. So I'm starting to think that, and he's gotten into it with me, and I already stacked him, and
Nice.
I called him off on when he was bluffing the one time, and just because when I was going through it, it was like there's some point in his line that just didn't make sense, and I had seen him bluffing prior, so I knew he was capable. So I did make it was a kind of a light call, but I was right. So it was so I think he's less inclined to bluff against me in general
Uh-huh.
after that. So I check here, and after he checks back and we get 6, I don't think it really changes much, and I start to construct a bluff because I mean I think I can get like sevens, eights, nines to fold. I think over pairs would bet on the flop. Ace king, I think he's gonna bet his draw, his gut shot on the flop. Which either way, I think I'm gonna be able to get to fold if he doesn't connect. And I think there's hands that he's beating that are beating me that he'll just check through here with, pocket pairs that are better than mine. So
Okay. The only thing I don't like about bluffing with this hand is you still have showdown value against ace king or ace queen.
well, I agree with you. I just think I don't think he's an aggressive player. He doesn't have ace king or ace queen. I think it's unlikely. I think he's betting his gut shots and stuff like that. So I think that this is likely weighted towards some sort of pocket pair. And I don't have showdown against any pocket pairs.
True.
So that's my reasoning here of why I think that I can bluff here and get better hands to fold. And I don't think he's on a draw because I think he's gonna bet his draws and check back with his nines and stuff like that. So, and he's betting his over pairs, which I don't really love the idea of trying to get them to fold either, but I think he's betting them. So I think we're here. He's heavily weighted towards nines, eights, sevens, fives, maybe fives. Fives is a little light, but he might just check with a five. He could have some sixes, obviously, just drilled, but I think I'm going to find out just right now if he just drilled a full house. So I don't think he's checking a 10. So kind of have him on pocket pairs below the board in general. So I bet 30 here. I don't want to go too big because if I go over bet here, I don't have a lot behind to So if I overbet to like 60, there's 170 in the middle, and I think he'd fold, but I'd prefer to not have to fire the monster to get it to fold. I think I can get things to fold for cheaper, so I can bet smaller to get him to call with that shit now and then blast off on the river to get him to
Yeah.
fold. So I bet 30. He makes the call, and we get a pretty blank river. Don't really think it changes anything. So I continue with my original plan. I think I bet like 150 here. Yeah, I do. And he folds, and he claims to have had sevens, but I mean, I don't really know. I don't think he'd be the most honest player
No,
ever.
nor would I.
So,
I would,
so
I think in habit, you should let everybody vote what hand you have. Yeah, this is a good, this is a well-constructed bluff. I mean, you're essentially saying you have a jack.
yeah,
You're saying you have jacks are better. I think this is, yeah, it's a well-constructed bluff, absolutely.
this one was fun. I like this hand. I mean,
So let's
this,
talk about I think I can learn something from how you construct your bluff here. Let's go back to turn sizing here. So let's go back to turn.
mhm,
So pot is 50. You bet what? Show your bet size here.
bet 30. And this
So
is
you
part
bet
of,
about a B60, whatever.
yep.
Yeah, I like it. So now when you bet this, you know, if he calls 61, 140, it makes for a very nice over bet of 150. Yeah, I like it.
I also part of this too is that if I start going too big here, I'm just gonna wade out I'm only gonna bring his stronger hands with me. So
Well, we also know what Hungry Horse says, right? Best bluff
yeah,
is one where they call flop, call turn. Fold river, this is just happens to be 2 street, call turn, fold river, but yeah, I like your size. And
so yeah,
yes,
that's
yeah, you don't want to filter him to just hands that are always calling river. You want to
This-
you want to keep him open and get your extra $30.
yeah, and there's a check. There is also a part of this too is that I don't think he would, but he's a pretty aggressive player. So I think he's betting a 10 on the flop. But there is some portion of the time that he might just check back a 10 here to try and not blow it up the pot too much. So, and I
Also, I
don't
think,
feel super confident getting a 10 to fold.
essentially constructing a 2 street bluff is much more believable than a single street bluff. Like if you went check, check, she checked again, and then you overbet. I think against humans,
He's
that's
calling.
much less believable than constructing a 2 street bluff. I think we want to, given the opportunity, we want to construct a 2 street bluff, being aware of texture with a smaller bet on turn and then an overbet on river. I think this is a well constructed bluff.
All right. Well, there's one good play. I usually bring my shitters. So,
Anybody
I
else
mean,
have any thoughts on constructing the bluff here? Oh, we lost
Uh,
Andy. Andy's always got something to say. Andy?
so I zoned out for a minute. Somebody was texting me, but I don't know. It's kind of one of those spots. If the guy, especially if he's super aggressive when he checks the flop, like the only other thing I like is because I heard Scotty, you did mention we have some bit of showdown value. Is I like check raise on the turn, bet river.
but that's the only
Um,
problem with why I don't like that is that when an aggressive player like this checks the flop, I think he just has showdown value that's not going to bet the turn and isn't going to fold to a river bet.
yeah, but if he checks turn, that almost increases the value of our showdown value, right? Like an aggressive player at this point, because what was the turn again? It was 6, right?
Yes.
Go back to the turn. So if he checks turn back, now he's checked twice. So then we fire a big bet on the river, and I think a lot of the folds that we're gonna get, at this point he has almost no showdown value if he checks back turn. An aggressive player is probably never going to check. He said he had pocket sevens. Do you believe he's going to check back pocket sevens twice now when you've shown almost no interest in the pot?
Um, I think that I think that's a valid point. I think that
I mean,
I think he's
any
gonna
of
check back
our
sevens.
aggressive friends, are you ever checking back pocket sevens on this turn? I know I'm not. I'm probably
I'm
not checking them. Yeah, I might check them back on the flop,
I'm
but
I'm pretty
once my
aggressive and
opponent
I'm gonna
checks
check my
twice and I'm
sevens.
in position as the pre-flop raiser, I'm literally never checking back pocket sevens on this turn ever.
I think that it depends. I mean, I play more aggressively. You can ask Larry. You've seen my aggression bite me in the ass too. But I think that sevens, I might be checking back a decent bit on the turn just because I like for the same reason of you're saying like I have showdown with twos. I'm I mean also if I check raise the turn and if he doesn't fold, so if I check raise the turn and he doesn't fold, I can't do anything on the river.
Sure you can.
I
I
really, I
mean,
mean,
he still has draws at this point. You still have draws. It's just kind of one of those things. I mean, check raise turn, bomb river, but
I'm not gonna love to bomb the river when when he calls my raise on the turn.
I mean, even then, you get a little more clarity. Like if he checks back turn here, um, you fire out 75 on the river. Chances are he's never calling. If he does, good for him. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
Like,
kind of
and
agree
and
and
in all
disagree.
reality, you've committed less to the bluff than you don't get. I mean, because what you bet 30 here,
Yeah, I bet 30
so you
here.
went bet 30. He calls 150. So
One,
you know what I mean? Like you've committed now. Granted, you get the extra call there. Um, so let's ask. You think if he's folding to bet, is he ever folding? Is he ever calling a check raise on the turn? The answer is probably not, right?
probably not. No, no.
Because essentially the check raise it actually has a little more fold equity than bet.
So what happens here
So
though if I check and he starts to construct a bluff and he bets big into this
Mhm.
pot? Now I just have to fold.
On the turn,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're thinking about turn, I mean, obviously when you bet there, you were sort of thinking about turning your twos into a bluff. He still has a ton of bluffs, and if he's aggressive, he's probably going to fire the turn fairly wide after you check twice, right?
yeah.
Exactly. So you can still, so he bets 30 or say 40, you still put in that big boy check raise and risk you have the same amount of risk as you have in the bet line with a ton more fold equity.
Yeah, that's valid.
A lot of times, like I think sevens are probably just going to fold to a real healthy sizing here,
My main thing
and
though is that
then
I just don't think I'm getting folds on the river if it goes check through and he has something like sevens or eights. I don't think I'm getting. I can go 75, but I mean it's
and
just
you check
that
check and
final.
and maybe you win, maybe you lose. I mean, do you actually believe him that he had pocket sevens, or
No, no, he's
because
back and forth.
I think I don't know. I guess you bet the turn, so there's no way to know what he does on the turn. Um, I mean, I just feel like heads up as the pre-flop raiser, especially. I mean, we all know like Asian guys go one of two ways. They're either just fucking lunatics or they're just super passive stations, right? Like there's not much middle ground with the Asian guys.
Yeah.
Um, so how many Asians have you played with that are the aggressive side that are checking back any pair as the pre-flop raiser on this flop ever?
I mean, on the passive
None.
or the aggressive side, this is honestly the only aggressive Asian player I've played against. Every other Asian there is just a total calling station.
So, and like I said, there with Asian players, it seems like there is no in between. Um, and actually, a lot of Arabic players fall into that same category. I know, being Detroit area, I play with a lot of Arabic guys, and they're either just like super stations or just super aggressive, like um And how many, like when you get these players that are super aggressive as the pre-flop raiser in position, how often are they ever checking back any pocket pair on this flop?
Yeah.
From anybody. I'm not just asking Brian specifically. I mean, what are people's thoughts on that?
In that specific situation, you're now risking because if they start to get super aggressive and you still want to go check raise lines, I don't feel comfortable bluff catching with twos on this specific spot because I mean you're now having to, if they bet $50 into this pot, which is they're going to take a bigger size usually,
Well, your check
you got to
raise has
check
gotta
raise
be very,
massive then.
very dependent on their sizing, right?
Yeah, if they
So
bet
a
50, you have to check raise massive then, and now I'm risking more money than I was prior.
if they bet 50, just fold, but if they bet like 20, maybe you'll check raise. I could see the value of the check raise line. It's more aggressive. I think, I think either line is good. I like your line here. I think your line is a well-constructed bluff. I think essentially Andy's point is that an aggressive player, given check, getting the turn, is going to bet here high freak. And we can exploit that he's gonna bet a lot of his range that's air here by check raising.
I think we're still kind of like in the discussion, and I could be way off base here, but I think Brian, you're still thinking because he said he had sevens, like you're in this discussion, you're thinking I have to fold out sevens, where I'm thinking more his entire range, like especially once you go check, you check twice. I know of myself, I'm literally if I find a check on that flop, I'm bombing that turn with my entire range every time, 100% of the time. And I know I'm
Well,
opening myself up to check raises on the turn, but it is what it is against a vast majority of player population in my games. They're just, when they check twice, they just have nothing and they're going to fold. Does that make
I
sense?
mean, no, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not specifically thinking about sevens because he still has ace king, ace queen here, which are going to fold either way if you start
So
bombing.
if so all the
I'm more
check
focused
raise
on
line
folding out
here
hands that are
accomplishes
better than mine.
what the check raise line accomplishes is you get an extra bet out of his complete air versus you bet here and he has an air ball. He may just I mean he may still call with like ace king, ace queen, king queen. He might call one bet. So I guess maybe you get a bet out of that. But what about if he's a fairly aggressive player? What about his, ace four offsuit, his ace four suited that's just 100% airball that he's gonna bet on this turn? So you're getting value out of his draws, you're getting value out of his air balls, and obviously if you're beat, you're beat. By letting him bet once on the turn and then putting in, the very, a nice healthy check raise. Which obviously if he fires off a big, $45, $50, $60 bet, you can just fold. Because generally, even aggressive players aren't going that sizing with an air ball. They have some sort of showdown value or what they believe to be some sort of value.
Okay, yeah, that line's. I understand that line.
Plus, I mean,
In my
so
head,
many
it's more
people.
of the risk of it getting checked through, and then I'm not gonna be able to get under pair to fold on the river. I mean, yeah, I can blast off on the river and probably get it to fold, but now I have to basically put my whole stack in on the river to get that under pair to fold.
No, really, I mean, you fire 100 on the river. I think, a 2x pot bet. I think a lot of things fold, right? I don't know. I mean, or at that point, it's a give up and
Well, that's the thing about it in the way of the way these players are looking at it is if I check flop, check turn, and then blast huge on the river, if they're sitting here with sevens, eights, nines, they're this is a bluff.
I mean,
I'm
if you're gonna
calling it all.
choose to,
also,
I think your two better options are, if you're gonna choose to bluff this, the bet line is better, or the check raise line is better than the single. blast on river. When you construct a
Agree.
2 street bluff
So
here,
I'm gonna get looked off
it looks
way
a
more
lot
often.
more believable than a single blast on river. And check raise looks a lot more believable than a single blast on river.
and you also, so what was the river again? It was kind of brickish.
Yeah, I think it
4?
was like a 4.
Yeah. So you also can look at, um, you know, look for, if you're looking to turn your twos into a bluff, check raise river, because now he's checked twice. He's probably not very strong. And a check raise, river check raise is, especially at 1-2, is almost, not almost, it's pretty much always value, unless he's a good player, he knows you're a good player, respects your play, then he might look you up. But so pot was 53, 53. If turn goes check check and he bets, or again, it's just a give up on your part, like saying, well, what if he checks? So does that mean, if you're saying what if he checks turn, do you believe you're value betting, or do you know you're bluffing? You're turning your twos into a bluff.
I mean, if it goes check
Because
check, it's possible that yeah, I'm just
if your fear is that he checks turn, it kind of sounds like you're going more for value than a bluff.
I still think there's showdown that he might just check all the way through here.
Okay, but I
Like
mean, if it checks all the way down, you're looking at ace king ace queen. He's looking at ace king ace queen as value, right? And you
yeah,
have
some
those beat.
portion of
Like,
it.
you do have some value beat. You know what I mean?
Well, part of my whole reasoning, I don't know if you heard this in the beginning, is that one, I looked him up prior, but two, if he's aggressive, he's betting ace king and ace queen on the flop. He's
And
betting
if
his
he is
gut
that
shots.
aggressive, he's probably also betting sevens, eights, nines on the flop. And if he's not betting those on the flop, he's definitely betting them on the turn, right?
Probably, yes. I mean, the only thing
So
is him getting looked up by me prior is it seemed like he was getting out of line with everybody else. He got out of line with me, I caught him, and then from there he kind of slowed down against me, it seemed, and then everybody else he was still very aggressive.
aggressive players, though, they may slow down on the flop, but I mean, once you check twice out of position, I mean, it's he, in his mind, he's probably got the green light. Like, yeah, he might bet ace king, ace queen, king queen on the flop, with those overs and gut shot open ended. However, once you check twice out of position, now he's going to start betting his six or sevens, eights, nines type hands, those middle pairs that are probably ahead of a range that checks twice. Because if you have value, you're gonna, once the turn flop checks through, you're gonna bet the turn, which so he starts betting those, and you get like the bet line. A lot of times, even against bet, your sevens, eights, nines are generally going to go call. Maybe. I guess it depends on your image and you as a player. If you're capable of going bet, turn river, and he's aware of that, then it's almost, you want to call with showdown value, right?
Yeah. All right, well, have to consider those lines next time.
So
Yeah, I
you
think
bet the
generally,
turn,
I think
I
your line is good. I think your line is good. I think you
your
chose
line. I was just,
No,
I
giving
think,
options.
you're good.
other options to think about that, because if he has and it's one of those things, right? Like, it's because if he has a complete air ball, he may just, he folds turn and you get no value. In this case, he had a little bit of showdown value. He called, if we're being results oriented. But if we're looking at total range interaction and player interaction, I personally, I like the check raise, because I mean, if he checks twice, then he almost never has any sort of showdown value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an aggressive player,
Or
he
as an
has no
aggressive player,
value.
if
He
he
might have showdown
if
value,
he,
but he has no value.
so if he has, I mean, so in his, what does he have here that like queen 7 or something, like king 9, still a gutter? I don't know what he Yeah, I think your line is I could see the check raise. Check raise is just a more aggressive line. But I think ultimately for constructing a bluff, we construct a 2-street bluff, we're repping a jack X. It works. Alright, should we move on? New hand?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, so one more hand from you and then I'll do some hands, then we'll come back to you. I think you and I are the only ones with hands today. So we'll
I have
mix it
anything
up.
prepared. Sorry, guys. Life has been a little crazy these last few weeks. I'm
That's
trying to
alright, no
calm
worries.
things down.
Now let's see a total punt from me.
So how many hands do you have left today? You have 3 or 4 hands left?
Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Alright, excellent. I've got like, well, we'll do this hand with you and then it's good you have hands because just you and me have hands because all these others are slackers. Something about life, real life as opposed to poker. I don't know what we're talking about, but
Yeah, I don't know what they're
just
talking
kidding,
about.
Andy. No worries. So why don't you show
Been a
this hand,
slacker
then I'll.
lately. I accept it. I've been a slacker.
Welcome. Oh, we put a good one in, so now we're in Punt City. Here we go.
All right, Punch City one more time. All right, so we got lots of limpers. So we got a lot of limpers limping $2 here.
My thing
So
is, I
before
hate
you
this
show it,
fucking hand.
let's talk about size here. So I think default to one limper here is 4.5 bigs plus an additional big per limper in poker coaching. Is that right?
It's
You-
3
In
times.
position, you with versus one limper, you go up to 4.5, and then out of position, you add one. So one limper would be 5.5. So we got 5.5, 6.5, 7, 8.5 would be
It's
according to
$17.
poker coaching.
So I would go 20 to 25 here. I think I would go 25 here.
I do.
Yeah.
So I go 25. Honestly, this is. I should because I don't want. I'm fine with taking this down with no fucking flop because
Yeah, I am too with Queen Jack suited.
Queen Jack out of position. I just don't really love it, but I
You
also
got to
feel like it's.
ISO and you chose a size that is gonna hopefully get you heads up. But it sounds like it doesn't when you get, okay, yeah. Not shocking for live poker.
Um,
Alright, so you got a $75 pot here, $80 pot.
I have like 6. I got like 300 big blinds, but this guy's technically effective stack, but
Okay,
this guy's got like around close to 400,
400 big blinds or $400.
$400, so 200 big blinds.
So you're about, okay. Oh, well, that's an interesting flop. Alright. Straight flush draw. What happens here?
So I check here. And
This
Great
is
draw, Scotty.
a good. Oh, if the 10 and the king come, gives it straight flush draw, right? Are the 10 and the
I don't like this raise.
10 and the
Straight
8?
flush draw, backdoor straight draw. Yeah.
Yeah, we got everything going on. So this is a very good check raise spot. I like this check raise a lot. I think if you're gonna have a check raise, this is it. I've
Yeah,
not
this
seen a
is
punt yet. So he put in $25, you went to 100.
yes, and
Okay, so the only issue here is that this is a when you make this check raise,
it's got to be 2 street.
this
It's
is
the
a
punt.
2-street game. It's a 2-street game.
That's the problem with this play. I hate what I do on the turn. I think when he calls, I'm trying to, I'm trying to think of what the hell his range is. I think there's some combo draws possibly that he probably might just stick it in though. But this guy's been. So I folded this. I play, I've prior in the day I had I'm trying to figure out this player. I don't really know. He's newer to the table. I haven't seen much out of him. Never played with him before. He played a tournament, got knocked out, came and played. And he's an older guy, so I kind of just put them generally that limps a lot and folds, but will call sometimes. They're all probably also getting sick of my shit because I am just ISOing like a motherfucker to massive sizes and taking it down or just pushing people around. And
Good for you.
he ISO, so he might be sick of my shit. So I check here and I raise, and I'm trying to think. I mean, there's some aces, obviously. I
Ace
really don't
X
think.
or another draw. I mean, there's
Yeah,
lots of
another.
draws available here.
Yeah, other
So a high
draws.
equity draw, like around like a 10-8 or like a flush draw is
Yeah.
most likely, king high flush draw.
So
10 high flush draws still in there.
it's kind of what I'm in my head is he's got either on draws or aces. I think he's got two pair set. He's just
So
gonna stick it
his
in.
range is somewhat condensed, right? So
Yeah.
he has called your ISO, a big ISO. So we have a condensed range around a lot of ace X. I'd guess he has, I think his most likely hand is an ace X. So he calls.
Yeah, he makes the call and we get a brick turn.
All right. So now it's a 2-street game and we just need to shove it.
Yeah, I don't do that. I know. As I was walking away from this, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Just put the money in. And either way, when we look,
You've chosen to, you're essentially saying, what you're saying here is that you've got ace king, ace queen, and you don't want, you want to deny equity. You don't want the flush to get there or the straight to get there. And it's a 2-street, you turned it into a 2-street game.
I did, and I didn't think about it enough. That was the problem with my sizing was that I have a big stack. I look over, I can't see all of his chips is the fucking problem.
Yeah, that's super common issue. You'll get better and better at that live. It'll happen quite quickly, but
I'm getting better at it,
ballparking
especially after
chips from
this.
across the street, across the table's hard.
Yeah, and I need to see here that the thing is here is I thought he had more than he
No,
did.
about ballparking chips live really quick. And I've found this to be fairly true. Um, especially if even if especially if you can't see all their chips where like their hands are in front or whatever. Um, when you look over, ask them when you ask them how much do you have back or how much do you have can you move your hands? Can I see your chips? You a lot of times can get a pretty honest reaction against most recreational players. Um, if they're really quick or they put out a number really quick. And again, I know live tells make up such a small portion, but you can get a pretty honest reaction quite a bit of the time when you
What exactly do
ask
you
that
look?
question. If they give you a number really quick, like, oh, I have about this much, or let me count them, it generally is strength, right? Generally.
Yeah.
Repeat
Yeah,
that. When
okay.
is it strength?
Like
My
very
internet
When
cut
they
out.
give
quickly.
you when you ask how much they have back and they either fairly quickly give you a number or and start, moving stacks forward so you can see them.
Yeah, I'll say too though that that's actually I've actually noticed that I think slowly over time is that when people see me looking at their chips or whatever and they start to like look kind of sheepish is when I know they're not that strong. So I'll adjust from there. But if they start, there's certain players too that do that stupid shit where they'll like when they don't want you to raise them, you'll see them like putting chips forward and stuff to make it seem like, they're all in here. They got a
If you
super
have a
strong hand.
mental note, if you have a mental note on the players that do that,
Oh, it's a total
um,
sign of weakness when they do that type of shit. I know who they are.
right.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things. But when it's a player who doesn't normally do that and they're sitting kind of with their hands in front of, their chips are guarded.
Yeah.
Um, is one way I've looked at it. Another thing to think on that flop. Um, I know Bart Hansen talks a lot about it. Same bet. And I know that's more the same bet applies more from their turn bet to their flop bet to turn bet. What does same bet mean?
Yeah. It's a sign of weakness generally.
Yeah, same bet is a sign of weakness. So when he
The problem
fires into
is,
that pot, same bet. Um, I don't know. I like your sizing on the flop.
yeah, I don't think I can go much different. I don't like what I do here is not realizing how short he is, and then I basically just price myself in. This is disgusting. I hate it. I don't even want to fucking talk about it. Honestly, when he
Oh,
called, I was okay. So when
Oh,
he
don't worry.
calls here,
I got plenty of punts coming up.
oh, I know. I bring them. I'm completely open and honest with everybody. You guys get to see all my punts and all my terrible fucking plays, and it's sickening. But not gonna learn unless I shame myself in these groups.
That's the way I think about it too.
I have slowly, and even after our last session when I brought punts like crazy, you saw those punts. I I played much better the next couple of days, which he just still did this type of shit, but I was playing better and I was making better
Yeah,
laydowns, which I
I
was
think we've
happy
all
with.
been really good about it. Scotty's good about that. I try to bring my punts as well.
So I punt here when I don't realize. See, the thing is here is that you can't. This is what I hate about this whole thing is that so when he calls, I'm not loving it because I haven't pegged. He's an older guy. I haven't pegged as more passive, and when he calls, honestly, I have two options here: is to give up and check, which I don't love, or jam. And this is the
Well, you don't give up
worst
and check.
fucking option ever.
You check and you see what his size is, and you understand what your odds are.
Yeah, yeah. But I was saying like give up on trying to force him out because when
Mm.
he calls, he likes his hand a lot,
Now
and it's gonna be hard to get him to fold.
this is a really margy.
This
You're
is
I mean,
terrible.
so when you shove turn, you're trying to generate a fold from the ace X. I'm trying to generate a fold from like a weak ace X, like ace 10 maybe, ace 6
See, the
of
thing is,
like,
he also tank called on the flop, so he didn't love it. I know that he's strong, but he does not love what I'm doing right now. Like
yeah,
he's
he's
in a
got
position.
like, this points towards like ace X. So,
like a weak ace X.
Yes, weak ace X is exactly what my brain is thinking, and I'm like, okay, how much more pressure can a weak ace X here? Maybe which I should just be jamming in that situation. I also don't realize that he doesn't have a lot behind, so
well,
I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, so if we put this in a custom solve and we took this line, it would shove here because SPR. So it would either
yeah,
shove or check.
yeah, and
Unless it has like super thick value, like nines or sevens, in which
I was
case it might use a smaller size. Nines or sevens or ace nine, it's gonna use this. Yeah, this size is mergey.
yeah,
So,
I despise this. This is disgusting what I did here. Um,
so he calls,
no,
he shoves. Alright, so
he
now the pot
raises.
is
Didn't
278
even shove. So he's okay.
and you got $100. So
And
you
then,
aren't technically priced in?
well, I think I did let me pull it up real quick. I needed to call, so we got
So then
You gotta call a hundred
I'm
bigs, your remaining 100 bigs.
8
And
plus, what do I need?
I think your equity requirements 20, about 25%.
I,
Is two.
all 42 and a half bigs. To a pot that's now, I mean, this sizing is always, especially like OMC type players,
it's
is
strength.
just it's absolute sizing. That's $200 to him. He this if he is in fact that type of player, he probably has no idea how much is in the pot, right? To him,
No,
it's all about absolute sizing. When
I'm
you
wrong, you have
size
64.
no, I
You
actually,
are
I did the
priced
math
in.
on this. I'm priced in for
You
this
are
call. I
priced in.
know that.
I made an error. You gotta call around what, 62 here?
Yeah, no, so it's 320.5, 320
Yeah,
oh shit.
you're priced in perfectly. You got 18% equity requirement.
Yeah, it was perfect. I have to call. And I mean, even worse than that, I just ship it because I'm fucking stupid. And he calls, we miss, we get stacked after spending the whole day building a stack. And this is where my
Oh.
biggest problem is punting after I build myself a nice stack and then I don't get stacked, but I lose a lot and I just
And
decide to
he
leave.
has? Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was yeah. I mean if he's got ace 5 and I jam the turn, I'm getting the fold. But
Yeah,
I mean, in
this
this
is,
situation, you were never ever getting a fold on the
no.
turn.
Yeah, no. If he has ace five or if it comes off of as a five, I'm jamming and I'm getting the fold.
well,
And
one thought here, are you allowed to run it twice in your room?
no.
Okay, never mind.
And I don't run it twice anyways because it just happens to piss me off more. So run it once like a man, Larry. Fuck it. I made the play. I got here. We run it once. That's what we do.
I've
Yeah,
only
I think you
I've
turn it
only
into a
ever run
two-street
it
game.
twice, one time.
I
I
hate
hate
it.
running it twice. I'll do once or three times. I hate run it twice. And just recently, a guy we got all in, or well, yeah, we got all in on the turn or on the flop, on a flop of 10-3 deuce. I had a set of tens, and he asked, "You want to run it once or twice?" And I asked him what he had, and he said he had a set. So I was like, "All right, like this guy's kind of been getting the bad end of it. Like he wants to run it twice. He has one out. We'll do it, right?" I'm
He gets it.
guaranteed. And of course, on the second run out, he spiked quads.
Yep. And that's why I don't run it twice. I'd rather just lose all my money, or I'd rather lose it or fucking make it all. Because that's why I play poker. I don't
It's-
fucking
The
play
literal
to chop pots.
the only reason I ran it twice was because he told me what before we made the decision. He told me what he had, and I said, "Well, he's got one out." Like,
Well,
When people ask
Um,
me, I just, even if I'm behind, I just say once, and they'll be like, "Why would you want to run it once?" And I'm like, "Because when I drill it, I make it all, and when I miss it, fuck it."
so let's talk about what one it twice does. So like one it twice, I
Does
won it
decrease
once.
variance.
It doesn't really matter in the long run because it's just a tool to decrease variance. That's right. But really, if you're playing significant volume, it doesn't matter. It just matters in your, I think for your style of play, it doesn't matter you're playing in a room that doesn't allow it, but I think it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, they don't allow it. Only at 1-3 and 2-5 do they allow. I had to tell you guys about a game I played recently where the 2-5 table, guys from the 2-5 table were trying to come play the 1-2 table because of how fucking crazy the game was playing. It was playing like a 5-10 game at this point. Like it was just ridiculous. Everyone was like 1,000 deep and just stacking. Everyone was just stacking left and right. It was ridiculous. It was so much fun.
Were you 1,000 deep?
Yeah, I was like 1,000 deep, and some lady shows up with like 2,700 because her table broke, and she was just punting. And I didn't get any of her stack because I just didn't have a chance. But the one guy, he was calling her down with like third pair and just collecting like $800 pots off of her, and she just
I
kept
remember you
reloading.
kind of talking about this before.
It was outrageous. It was like
Yeah,
it
that's
was a
insane.
ridiculous day.
Where are
The
you
Well,
two,
good for
playing it?
you for maintaining, like sticking in and rolling with the variance. I would have walked. If I had like $1,000, I might have walked because I wouldn't want to.
I
But
stuck.
it really ultimately depends on what your bankroll is in theory. Like how much can your bankroll sustain, the loss? That's really what matters.
Is an $800 win going to be a huge boost to your bankroll?
Yeah,
Or is
which
a $800 loss gonna totally decimate your bankroll?
it's not going to, considering I've taken a couple of big ones recently, but um
Raising.
also, yeah, but it's a
So the point on this is that either line that we talked about, you're gonna lose all your money. It's just how you lose it, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's a punt on the
but I
turn.
think on turn, you do have two options. Your options are shove or check.
And he's never folding there, but not looking at results wise, I need to be sticking it in there because
I
when he
think for your
has
play,
ace two, ace five, I need to be jamming.
yeah, I mean, you just got very unlucky, but for the way you play, I think it's a 2-street game because of the stack depth.
Yep, and that's one thing I need to be focused on stack depth when I'm playing, because when I'm bluffing very often, and people don't know I'm bluffing. It's pretty ridiculous. Like people have me pegged as like a tight guy that only, I mean, like I raise aggressively pre-flop, but they don't look me up almost ever.
Yeah.
So they think that I just have the nuts all the time, and they're like,
Well,
"Oh, you just
that's
always got it," and I just keep blasting them, and they keep folding, and then I get looked, and then I get crushed by. I usually get crushed by. Sometimes I flop a set, and somebody flops a straight, and I'm fucked.
Alright, so,
The only mistake here really was the turn sizing. I mean, you should have just, we blast off turn.
See, my only question here too is
Or
that do you think I can just I think turn I agree with you. I think that my biggest blunder here is that I don't just blast turn. Like turn needs to be just all in and
turn is, turn is a shove, turn is a shove because of
check.
the stack size. It's a
Yeah,
shove or a check, either is fine. It's a shove or a check to realize equity, either's fine.
And that's
yeah,
that was my main thing when I was leaving, wasn't like, oh, you fucking idiot. Because I'm sitting there doing the math as I was sitting at the table. And I was like, I'm priced in. I have to call here. Or I didn't even have to jam, but it was like, fuck it. What I'm gonna put the money in. Because if the flush comes off, I'm not gonna get paid by the rest of his money. I mean, I'll probably get paid. He's got nothing behind. But the as I was leaving and I was like thinking about it, I was like, it's just the turn. Like that's the point. That was the problem right there. I knew it was the turn, and that was the main thing was, and I with what Dean just said is I that's why I kind of when he calls me on the flop, I think that I like to check better there. I like to check better because one, my read was wrong. I thought the guy, I mean, my read was right, but then it became wrong. At least I thought it was wrong because when he called my check raise, I'm like, okay, does he have a lot of weak ace X here that's this sticky? He's an older guy. He's probably gonna lay it down whenever I put this much money in. But when he calls, I think I can probably slow down and check and see what he does. And if he just blasts off, I just fold and save myself a bunch of money.
Yeah, you have two options. I think your line is, I think,
Awful in turn.
no, well, your line that I think you would take here is that you would often shove turn. I think that is more the word I think is congruent with what your style of play is, and I think that's a fine play here. But I think really it just comes down to the fact that what we can learn from this is that you have either a check on turn or a shove on turn. There's no in between.
Yeah. And I think that, yeah, I kind of screwed myself by
For
putting that
exactly
bet
the
up.
reasons that we saw here.
Yep. Is what it is.
All right, I've got two. We'll show my two and then we'll
Now I
and
get
then
to
we
delete this
will,
hand and
we'll be
forget it
back
for the
in
rest of
2
my life.
minutes.
all right, and then we will come back to you for more hands. I got 4 hands today. This hand is
Passive hero.
stuffed.
Why do you do this? Passive hero. Please tell me you open this big.
What do I do? I don't know. Oh, okay. So we got the straddle on. I probably go to 10. I should have gone bigger. But I should have gone to 15 here. If I go to 10. We get a call, saddle folds, or heads up. We get this flop. And we've got top 2.
It's an okay flop.
Yeah, that works for me. He donks. He dunks big. He bunks pot here. So my thought is that
He loves his hand. Put more money in.
he loves, yeah, my thought is that he loves his hand, but we are blocking a lot of continues. We're not blocking hearts, obviously, but we're blocking like a lot of like ace X, we're blocking king X. You can see his hand. I accidentally left his hand exposed. But I decided to call here. I don't think this is my best play. This is a knuffle play. Just call everything on turn, see on flop, see what it does. I call. Now it's 65. And he down bets, essentially. Same size. We were talking about same size before, right? Same size.
You
So
gotta make sure
here,
you close the hands off. I don't like being able to know what they have.
yeah, this isn't good. So I think this is a clear raise all day. I raise him to 80. We're pretty deep. He calls. And this is my mistake. So this repeats 7. The only thing this repeats 7 does is reduces his stick value. I don't know. I don't think he plays a 7 like this. Very often. And everything else bricked.
Think that he could have a 7 if he donked smaller on the flop. But I
Yeah,
think when he donks pretty large into you, I don't think he has many 7s.
agreed. So he chooses a 10% bet.
And you just call.
What do you think I should do?
I think you should raise. All of his aces just became two pair.
Yeah.
He
What
thinks
size are you
that,
using?
well, let's think about it. So if we don't think he has a seven, let's say he donks small on the flop, or donks big, so he doesn't have a lot of sevens. If
Yeah.
we stick with that thread, and then he continues to donk on the turn after you call, I would be putting him more on king X. But once you raise and he calls, he doesn't have king X anymore. He has heart draws, weak aces. Could have some like king jack that's just made two pair.
Yeah,
That made
that's
two pair
true.
on the turn. Um, I don't think he has a straight because he doesn't. I don't think he's gonna donk twice with his gutter, queen 10. And he's not gonna call off your raise, unlikely. So he's got a lot of shit. I think it's weighted towards an ace because he called you when you raised. So
Yeah,
how much money can you get from an ace here that just made two pair?
I think the
Probably
price
a
is like,
lot.
that's the right price is like 125 to 150.
I would go bigger. I'd go to like 200.
I could see 200. Potted, yeah, I could see potting it. So I'm into sick. I got in my head. What can call us on this paired board? I said, what can call us? The way I thought about it in my head, which is clearly an error, is what can call us that's worse. And the answer is hands just became two pair. His hand can call sometimes. But I thought that he, on the repeat 7, he doesn't have many hands that can call that are worse. And I was wrong. I think he would have called that at some frequency. This is way
You
too
have
nitty. And I was it, and you know, I would much prefer to be naturally aggressive like you are, frankly, Brian. But I think the way
it.
that I need to think about this.
Don't worry, Larry. As you've seen, it's bitten me in the ass plenty. So,
Well, yeah, sure, of course. Um, you gotta embrace the variance. So yeah, I think the size here is at least 150, 125. I think that's the right size here.
when I think about it more too, I think that
Um,
you can get a lot. I
in
think
my head,
150
I
is
was
better.
like, well, it's hard on a repeat 7. It's hard to get called by anything that's worse. But I think what's more important is to listen to the sizing here.
Yeah,
And the
I think
sizing, is my internet
because
still
what
there? Yeah, I'm still here, right?
I
Mhm.
hear.
The sizing,
I
I
hear
think,
you.
is I think we go to a sizing that we can fold to a shove. And I think the sizing is around 150, maybe 120. I think maybe 120 because then we can fold to a shove. 150, I think, is better. 150 fold to a shove. Well, I don't think he has many shoves here. There was one guy who used to come in here that used to yell at me when I talked about check raises because they never happened. What was the name of the guy that lived in San Francisco? I don't know, anyway. So I think 150 is the right size. I think I
I
say in
think
my
you just
head
have the
here,
best hand so often,
thick
and you can
value,
go big.
150 fold to a shove. I think is the answer here. Now, the question I become is how do I get that in my head? So my thought was nothing can call us. Because my also thinking I've filtered his range here. But I think the answer is 150 fold to a shove.
I think you also know if he hit a
Yeah.
full
Okay.
house here
Anyway, move on.
after you check raised him, say he had like something like king 7, which is unlikely, but if you check raised him and he called with king 7, which isn't, I can see that happening because a lot of the players play it more passively when they're like, oh, sets. He raised under the gun. You could have ace king, or you could have aces or kings, or he raised early, so they might not fast play. They're like king 7 or some shit like that. But whenever he bets 20 again on the river, he does not have a full house and he doesn't have a 7. Like he's
He's telling,
getting.
yeah, he's a fish telling us exactly the value of his hand.
Yeah, and I think I said 200. I don't think 200 is right. I think that some fish might get away from it for 200. So I like your size, like 125, 150 better. I do agree with you on
Yeah,
that one.
yeah, I think 125, 150, and then yeah. All right, next hand. Ace six. So we're deep. We open ace six. We get called by the blinds here. Now this is an interesting hand, which I think I fucked up. So this guy is a fucking maniac, and I've seen him do maniac shit that before tonight. And so I think this is a passive mistake. I think I'm going to show you guys my answer. We flop really well. Flop a fascinating hand. We flop not flush draw and top pair, top kicker. And so this guy now, he's got multi-way, we've got the blinds in. He chooses to donk for small or half pot.
And they
So-
donk into multiple players. They got a stronger hand than usual.
That is the bottom line. So what are you doing with this? I mean, this is a stack off hand. But
I'm
we're a little
putting-
bit deeper, right? He's got like 120 bigs left. So we're about 120 bigs effective. So look at this, let's move cash. $60. SPR is 4. I'm thinking an SPR of 4. This cuts close to a stack off hand. But I was spooked because he was doing this into 2 people. But he's a maniac.
He's a maniac. He calls you. What's his range here? Overpairs. Would he raise his overpairs?
Yeah, so he's got overpairs, he's got
Sets.
worse flush draws, and he's got maybe stuff wrapped around the 6-5.
So if you call, what's the benefit of calling? If you just call, he gives him a chance to keep blasting, and hopefully you get there. But your
Yeah,
six
so we're gonna
kinda
get there a
doesn't-
lot of the time. We've got any 6 gives us a nutty hand, any ace gives us a good hand, and obviously any diamond.
What's the
So-
benefit of raising now?
So the benefit of raising now, I think I like being in position, so I think I like calling here.
That's what I was wondering. Is if you is out of position, I'm gonna raise this more. But
Yeah, out of position, I think we play it more as like a check raise, get it all in.
So
But here,
is he a maniac that's gonna get scared off if you start going crazy, or is he?
no, I've seen him triple.
And fuck, I'd just put more money in, let him go back over the top and get all the money in, and hope to see a diamond.
Yeah, I think it's fine to just get this in here.
So in poker coaching land, I know JL talks a lot about in spots like this, where we're multi-way, playing, especially flush draws. Multi-way is a lot of times like when it goes bet call or bet call, and then it's on us. Just calling with the nut flush draws and raising the non-nut flush draws.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought
Because
that
we
up.
want to we don't want to try and push out or price out smaller flush draws, right?
Yeah.
We really want to hope that if there is smaller flush draws out there, or say somebody's on a straight draw where their straight completes with our flush,
You're making
we want to druminate somebody.
Yeah,
And essentially we're playing to cooler somebody at that point.
Well, the hard thing here
it's-
though is if he's got something like a set or 2 pair, or there is some value in getting money in now, so that when the flush comes off, you don't scare off those players.
Yes, there is.
Hopefully, it's
So
a
we
flush.
kind of think of it as, and it is a gamble. We get a little extra money in, and when the flush comes, the hand gets shut down, or we're against another flush draw that might not call a hefty raise, and the flush does come, and we play for stacks.
Yeah.
Especially with the equity we have. I mean, we have top with the nut flush redraw. Granted, it's a very vulnerable top pair.
But you are in
There's no
position.
way for another card to come off and not beat us. Unless, I mean, obviously a diamond peels, but literally any card in the deck peels off, and we now do not have, I mean, we still don't have the best hand some portion of the time, but how realistic is man, I guess 3-4 is not super unrealistic. It's fair, it's not gonna be out there very often, but it is there.
Well, I think so. Here on this board, when you like, if we range the first opponent and the second opponent, I kind of I like I do like calling too, because if you when he leads here, he's got hands that need protection mostly. I would think that he's got two pair and sets that see this board and think, "Fuck, I want to, get money in now before some shit comes out." But what does the guy
Yeah,
that
he's got
calls
6-5.
have? So, and then if he has two pair, you're in a great spot to see how he plays as it goes out, because you're going to know really quickly if you're down, if the flush doesn't come in and he just keeps going crazy. I mean, he is a maniac, so it's possible that he does this with worse, but it's unlikely in the two players. So you can get away from it when you miss, and you can just try to realize your equity in position and hope that somebody else has a straight draw or a flush draw, or already has a straight, gets there, and you hit your flush and you get to stack two players possibly.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
the second guy is a big blind. What can he have? He can have a 6, a 5, a deuce, maybe, and also flush draws and straight draws.
Yeah.
But he never has two pair. He never has a set here.
Yeah. And depending on
Excuse me,
how
guys.
sticky the maniac is, you might be able to stack him if he's got two pair here and he's a non-believer when you drill a flush or you hit an ace on the fucking.
You heard a little bit of the pre-flop
Excuse me.
discussion about the player, but what was I missed the pre-flop action.
He don't
Um,
into two for a decent size.
On the flop, so I missed pre-flop how it. Okay.
I open, and then the blind's flat, and now he
Okay.
donks.
And then he donks
Half pot.
half pot. I mean, what do we know about half pot and less size donks multi-way in live play?
Well, I think generally we think it's stronger multi-way, but we know this guy's a maniac, and we've seen him show up.
Larger than half pot sizing is generally stronger multi-way.
That's true.
I think
Smaller.
generally the thought is that a multi-way donkey is stronger too.
A lot of people just monkey bet, half pot, half pot, half pot. Whether
So if I give him this range, like let's give him like, we're just so ahead of what he could be donking here, even if we give him the sets.
what's your equity there?
If we give him the sets, give him 3-4. I want to give him 8-7. I want to give him 8-7 off here too.
You forgot pocket fives.
Yeah, pocket fives, thanks. We just are, I mean, there's some magic with this hand. And this top pair, top kicker, plus nut flush draw. We're just doing so well here. I think we want to get it in a lot. I think calling here is fine, because we've got two ranges. And we are gonna learn a lot by what he does on turn. So when we can call here, I think is fine.
Yeah, I like
We get this repeat 5. And
Yeah.
now it gets interesting. Now he pots it for 75. We're not folding. It's not the greatest card, but let's see what it does to our equity. So if the
What happened? The other guy
what was it,
called.
5 of clubs. Oh, the other guy folded. So the other guy folded. So now we're heads up. Let's see what this does to our equity. Yeah, look, we are just so far ahead. The 5 removes a lot of his thick equity. Even with all even when we give him all the and twos, The 5 removes thick value, right? He's only got 1 5 of combos. He only has 1 set of 6s because we have the 6, which leaves him with 2. So his thick value is really reduced here. So I thought of this as a bad card, but really it's kind of a good card. Because it removes his thick value to 1 combo of 5s. And he already was down to 1 combo of 6s because we have a 6. And he's still got 2s and he still has he's still got unrealized wheel draws. We're blocking his nut flush wheel draws. And I give him a bunch of fucking flush draws here, the soft flush draws. And our equity maintains. This is the most interesting part. When this 5 comes, our equity maintains at 73%.
I mean, you could remove the offsuit 6 part if you want to give him better.
I think, well, he's a maniac, so I'm gonna give him these.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a maniac, so I see your point. But I think he's got these because he's just a fucking, he was insane. So
What
he
about
doesn't
like
have that
6,
many, by the
4,
way,
and
because
6, 3?
sorry, say it again.
What about like 6, 4, and 6, 3?
5 4.
2, 6, 4, 6, 3, 5, 4. I don't think he's got as much 5, 4 whenever he. I mean, he might have 5, 4.
Give us a 5-4. It'll probably now even itself out.
Not want to too much. I
No,
guess.
Yeah.
a
It
shit
can even
load.
itself out because we gave him additional 6s. So I think this is the decision point. And I think the way I should have looked at this hand is this 5 is really good because it removes thick value for him. He only has 1 combo of 5s. And I think we can shove here.
Wait. Why wouldn't you let him just blast? He will keep blasting on the river, right? He's a mania.
Well, that's what I did.
Yeah,
So-
is that bad? I mean,
I blast, I call.
yeah,
We
he-
do not get there, sadly. We get kind of a 9.
Even if he's a maniac, though, how often is he triple barreling with nothing?
That
I don't
is
know.
really the point. And so I folded.
okay. We don't know.
Like, he
Yeah.
might be insane, but I've played with guys that are completely insane, but they don't put their whole stack in when they're bluffing.
Yeah, I think you have a valid point. I think, and he did it really fast, like without thinking. The one thing that
Sometimes it's
made me,
weird.
so I tanked for a long time and wanted the hero. And I wanted the hero because he did it really fast. And
Which
I
is either
Yeah.
super strong or super weak. He either decided he already hit and yeah, I'm going all in, or
Well, let me ask you guys, what do you think about a shove here?
what do I think about his shove?
What
I mean,
about an imposition shove over his pot size bet on turn?
Timing on the turn.
Say it again.
What was his timing on the turn?
Fast. He was acting fast the whole
He
time.
was fast on the turn and the river.
He acted fast flop turn river.
was he tilted
It's-
at all?
Fast turn,
I think
fast flop, turn river.
I don't know if tilted, but I know that he was fucking insane. I mean, he's
Oh,
just,
bluffing.
what? Say it again.
Your description is he's fucking insane and he acted fast, flop, turn, river. I
That's
feel
true.
like it's almost, I have to fucking hero it here, me personally. And if
Yeah.
he caught a 9, he caught I mean, 7-8 gets there. And that's
Yeah,
about
7-8
it.
gets there. So what the thought I had in game was that fuck 7-8, obvious bluff. And that we are blocking his most obvious bluffs. We're
That's
blocking
actually-
his ace X flush
The
draws.
thing is here, in your own, he's not just a maniac, but fucking insane. I mean, is he only gonna be barreling away with rational bluffs? Or is he at least
I think he's,
decently like aware enough of the poker table to look at this flop and instantly say, this is not a good flop for the razor. I'm gonna bet.
Yeah.
because
so,
it never really got any better for you.
Yeah. So, I think if I had to guess, he has another draw here, or he's got thick value. So he's got like, he might have the king high, queen high flush draw. Or he might
Mhm.
have just a 6 that wants protection, even though we're blocking. So like king 6 suited, king,
Ooh, I like what Dean
he
said.
could have, no, he couldn't have king 6, like hearts, king 6, clubs, something like that. And, yeah, that's the way I thought in game. I don't think we're beating value here. Let's think about this first principle.
You're not beating any value.
Yeah. Yeah, that's first principle is that we've got to give him something here that is bluffing through streets.
I mean, after you've just called and the draw miss on the river, does he ever have king 6 and jam? I'm gonna say no.
Doubtful. Doubtful king 6 takes this line. And also, I mean, the 6 to 5 is important. I think the other thing for me to think about this hand is that I didn't like the 5 because my hand no longer is drawing nuts. But I think actually that's not the way to think about this. I think it's important to think that you're not drawing the nuts, but it doesn't matter if you get there anyway, you're gonna call a shove. But it reduces his thick value. It reduces his 6-5 combos, and it reduces his 5-5 combos to 1. And so I'm thinking of this as a bad card, but I think it's actually a good card. What do you guys reckon about that thought process?
I still think he might have an overpair.
Yeah, it's easy for him to have 7s, 8s, or 9s here, I think, that want protection and they get really fucking mergy.
His 6-5 is super unlikely, but it's possible. It's not. It's fucking poker. People.
Of course, yeah, it
Yeah.
is. I mean, we're just
So-
working on probabilities, right? And so when the 5 comes, it reduces the probability of him having that. So I think, Andy, I think your hero's fine here. I wasn't really sure what to do here. So
Well, I think
I
about like
tanked
this.
for a long time. I almost
When
got that clock call on me. So I knew he was a maniac. What finally got me to a fold was that 7-8 gets there, and we're blocking his most likely bluffs with the ace of diamonds.
I wouldn't even fucking think about that against a maniac.
Are you gonna hero here?
No. I'm saying like blocking his bluffs and shit. He's bluffing with random ass shit if he is a total maniac. So it doesn't really matter if you block.
Yeah,
bluff.
there's a good point to that. I mean,
More
might
so
be-
against the maniac that, in your own words, is fucking insane. Is never gonna. We can't think of blockers and relevant bluffs and oh shit, bluffs got there, they didn't. He may have, especially the fact that you say the flop was really quick too. He may have decided I'm just fucking firing off no matter what. 3 streets.
Well, the question here too is why we didn't even ask why is he a maniac? Because if you play it against me, you might think I'm a total fucking maniac. But I'm wondering, like, what specifically have you seen that makes him a maniac?
I've seen him show up with air
3
on triple.
streets, all in, triple barrel.
Yeah, I've seen him
Okay,
turn
so
over
he's
air, and it's
capable.
like you had no equity. Like, bottom of range, what are you doing? He's just trying to bluff someone
Does he
other than.
do that multi-way on the flop? Have you ever seen that?
No,
Crazy
I've not seen him do I've not seen him take a hyper aggressive multi-wine triple donk.
And just one last thing about the turn, because you asked, should you raise? I mean, if you think he will call your raise with 7-8 on the turn, but he
Yeah.
will never bluff it on the river. I mean, sure. And if he also would bet call any flush draw here, but would never bluff them on the river, yes, I think raising is good.
I think there's some room for a raise here. this hand is interesting. We can't really put this in solver because it'd be really hard for him to have donks here.
Yeah, I'm
He
just
might, you
saying
know,
this.
he might have donks. I might put this in solver and see if it gives me. I might
Yeah.
put it in the custom solve and see if it gives us donks heads up. Or gives
Well,
it-
fuck the
if it
solver.
gives
This
him,
guy's range is insane, and he doesn't do anything even close to the solver. So
yeah.
it's like whatever.
Well, but you're right.
Question,
But what
Scotty.
solver is going to show us? You're right about that. But what solver is going to show us is two things. It's going to show us if the 5 is a good card. I think it is.
Yeah.
The solver will give us some insight to that and how it changes, it shifts equity. And the solver also will give us some insight as to at this SPR, which essentially now is approaching 1, if the shove here makes sense. And I think it does make sense.
Another question, Scotty. Would you say is he an aware maniac, or he just loves to blast off and has no awareness of board texture, size of the pot? Like where does he land in terms of that?
Yeah, I
Like,
think
is
I
this
think he
75, is this pot size bet? Is that deliberately pot size, or is it just he's one of those, fucking maniacs that just grabs a handful of chips and puts them out, and it was just coincidentally happened to be pot size?
I can't give you a clear answer. It's somewhere between the two. I think he's a somewhat aware human, but
He likes to gamble.
he likes to gamble and he likes to he likes to gamble, he likes to triple.
This is not an easy spot, Larry. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, the more I think about it, originally it was snap fold, but if you're saying he's capable of triple barreling, then
I kind of, yeah, really. I think the way that I think about this stand now is that this 5 is a good card. It's not a bad card. That's the one
I think
thing.
the 5's a really good card.
We all could come to agree with that. So I thought in game it wasn't a good card because we're not drawn to the nuts, but I think it is a good card because it reduces. I can understand your points about blockers don't matter, but they kind of matter if it reduces his stick value, which is what he's saying he's got. He's saying he's got 6-5 or 5s. Essentially saying he's got 6-5s, 5s is what he's saying.
you have 5 deuce. I mean,
Or 5 deuce, sure. And all of those hands we just mentioned their frequency is reduced by the 5. So I think the 5 is really good. I think what do you guys think a shove here is viable? I think Bozabub said yes if he calls off with worse flush draws.
Yeah, especially when he
Who's
doesn't
gonna
bluff
call off
them
with-
on the river, right?
Say it again.
Especially when he doesn't bluff them on the river when he
Yeah.
misses.
Yeah, so
See-
the value for calling here is that if he has any give up frequency on river, we're gonna win a lot. But I think there is, room here for
do you generate any folds when you jam here?
yes. We generate
From
folds
his
from
total
only
hand.
worse hands.
From worse hands, so
We don't generate folds from better.
so you
What I
probably
was gonna
should,
ask is what does his pre-flop 3-bet, like, is he just, or he calls pre-flop and just gets after it post-flop, or like when there's a raise ahead of him, is he mostly calling? Does he 3-bet a lot? Is
I don't think
three-betting
he
super
has-
wide?
I don't think he has a 3-bet. I don't think he 3-bets much.
Okay, does he cave in
I
a
haven't
lot to push back? Like when people start pushing back on him, is he caving in after the flop a lot, or
I
is
don't
he
have
just
enough hands
kind of
on him. I don't have enough hands on him.
okay?
I
That's a good
personally
question though, but I don't have
think
enough hands on it to know.
I think
So,
jamming is bad because, like you're
well,
saying, you get
everybody-
hold out his air, and you. But the problem is, what are you going to do on the river? If he blasts off the river, if you're sitting here thinking, okay, if I jam, he only calls me with better, and then I have to hit my draw, and then if he bets on the river, can I call him off?
Well, we forgot about the flush draws. Dean, I just looked at Dean's chat. Good point, Dean. If he calls off with flush draws, we're doing awesome. Obviously, we've got 100% equity against Jack 10. Well, we don't have 100 because you can do a Jack or a 10. But we've got like 90% equity against 95% equity against like Jack 10, Diamond. So I think maybe this becomes a viable play. I'm gonna put this hand is interesting. I'm gonna see if I can get it to work in a custom solve. But I think a viable play here is to just shove. given this SPR, which is now close to 1.
Well, if you want to talk about blockers too, wouldn't you want to jam less with this specific hand because you're blocking all of his bluffs?
That's true.
You're blocking his diamond bluffs. I mean,
Well,
I don't
yeah,
care.
but there are, I mean, he is, I think, blasting sometimes here with like queen 10, diamonds, 9-8 diamonds.
Ugh, it's just a tough spot.
This looks a little bit like a combo draw, doesn't it, actually, when I think about it? It looks like 7-8 diamonds. It looks like 7-8 diamonds. Yeah, it looks like 7-8 diamonds. It's a tough spot.
Yeah, it could also be 6-5. I mean, that,
Of course,
that's
it's gonna have a
yeah,
boat sometimes, yeah.
And also
Yeah,
And we're
the-
drawing dead.
it could
But
also
there aren't
be
that many
ace
combos,
seven
right?
offsuit.
Think about it. We're
Like,
blocking a lot of the 6.
Yep.
You know, the 5, we're blocking a lot of the 6-5, and then the 5 is blocking a lot of the 6-5.
How do you-
So,
queen eight offsuit for all we know, if he's that much of a
yeah.
maniac.
but
Well, what do you
I'd
guys
still-
think? Let's take a vote. We got 4 people.
Mhm.
And the question is shove a viable play here?
I think it's
I
viable,
say yes.
whether I
Well,
would-
what do you guys
100%.
think?
100%.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely it's 100%. I just don't know.
Yeah, I think I like shove here. And I think I like shove more when I see this. So this is the range we gave him, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave in the big ace X. We'll take away this one. Close above. And
He-
then. Confirm. Run.
What shoving does is makes your decision easier.
Yeah, well, I don't, yeah. So we
Like,
just,
do you want to play to have an easy decision?
if we give him that range, which includes, I mean, maybe we pull away like.
Some of the
these-
offsuit broadways that it would be in there that he may be doing the same thing with. You know, they don't have to make sense, right? If he is like an insane maniac.
We're just ahead of what we think his range is here. I think shove is very viable.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I like shove. I'll put in the custom solve. We'll see.
Hey, put in
I'll
his
mark this hand
call
for-
off range versus your shove and see how much equity you have.
if he, like, so if
Like
here, if he
maybe-
calls off, well, we're gonna, against his range, we're 70-30.
Well, that's his betting range right now is not his, what you're jamming and he's calling with.
With
Oh,
his call off
I
range,
see your
we're
point.
probably
Okay, so,
Gotta be behind.
well, he's probably folding like all the shitty 6X.
Maniacs might call this a 6X, A6.
I think he's calling those sixes.
Well, what's he
calling
folding
the
then?
naked
He-
sixes too.
He's folding probably all of his absolute nonsense.
So,
Yeah, all of his absolute air.
we'll
And
give
then-
him like, we'll take away like a lot of his shitty flush draws. How
And
about
then
that?
he'll probably fold ace 2. So
And then I'll take away ace 2.
Nah. Oh, yeah,
We'll take away ace 3, which is a gutter. Which
ace
is a
3
gutter.
and ace 4 he'll probably fold. And then
But
everything
not ace
else.
3 of diamonds. Oh, we blocked that. Never mind.
And we can't have it,
We
yeah.
blocked that, yeah.
That three of diamonds, we
so-
need to call the floor over immediately.
We'll call,
Let's say
we'll
he
call,
doesn't-
he'll
say he
call with
doesn't-
his king high. We'll give him his king high. We'll take away 1. Alright, now we're giving him a tighter range. We're still
Still,
doing really
yeah.
well. We're
Just
60-40.
get it in.
Yeah.
happens if you
I-
remove his flush draws.
Okay, so if you, well, okay, let's do that. So we'll remove all his flush draws, but
Kings.
kings.
And like 7-8.
Yeah, 7-8 can stay.
So one thing I really don't understand in this hand is just let's say he has king 10 offsuit on the turn, right? And he barrels like this with a random hand. What will he
ahead.
do with the king 10 offsuit on the river? Will he barrel? Will he
Yeah.
jam, or will he just check?
I think he's capable.
Yeah, okay, then I prefer the call on the turn. That's the reason I like to call. Because then he can have so many random bluffs, I guess.
But can you hero here?
That's-
I mean,
I'd
can you
say
hero
he's-
the $180 bet into, can you hero?
Yeah, I mean, with this description, when he barrels random hands like
Well,
King
what's-
10, which
What's
sure,
our equity on this river? Is it really a hero or is it a pot odds call? Because pot's gonna go
It's a hero.
Yeah,
He just triple barreled into us, man.
right.
think it's a
Pot's
hero.
gonna go to 600, so we're getting what?
So the pot is 413, and then we gotta call 188.
So
So,
the pot, when we call, the pot will go to roughly 600.
yeah, so we need to win 31% of the time.
but like he fucking
a little
donked.
bit less than that, probably closer to 27.
Well, the pot's 413, right? After he bets. And then we gotta call
If we
188.
call, it's gonna be, we're essentially calling 188 to win 600. So we're about 27%. 28%. I mean, I know we're splitting hairs at 28 and 31,
So,
but are we ahead, or even let's call it 30%? Are we ahead 30% of the time here?
well, it's a hero call, right? We
Right.
have a bluff catcher.
Right.
I mean, it's not ahead or behind. It's like, we got a bluff catcher. We're beating air is what we're doing here. And then we have to ask, is he bluffing on this line more than 30% or 27%? And if he's capable of bluffing more than 27% or 30% of this on this line, then it's a profitable call.
Let's look through to kind of look at specifically the river. What about the peckish pony checklist? Do we beat value? No. Is he capable? Yes. Have we given him rope? Yes.
Yeah. I think I prefer shove turn.
I like
But
shove
Bill's
turn.
a
That's
7-8
probably the
does
line I
make
would have
sense.
taken.
I think Bozabub is right, but I think if we choose to call on turn like I did, I think we have to be ready to hero.
Yeah, I think you either jam or you call it off. That's what I was kind of saying was that if you're just gonna call here, you have to call the river.
Against this player class.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, normally no, I would never make this call against your normal live player. But against this guy, if you just call here, you're now required
I think I like shove
basically
here.
to call off the river. So basically, shove makes your life slightly easier because you don't have to make a tough call in the river.
But we know that's not a good reason to make a play, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, do you want to make the easy decision or? But then it's like you have to call off the river. So
But the shove might be more profitable if he's calling very wide with his flush draws.
yeah, so
Or
shove would be better
sixes.
for that reason.
Or
Ours
if he has
86
ace
actually.
six,
I mean,
and
I
you're
put
just
in a
pushing
range
little
here.
bit ahead of his ace six.
His 8-6. I put 8-6.
Ace six. No, I
Okay.
said ace six. Like if he has ace six of clubs, like and we shove and he calls, we're still a little bit ahead of that even.
And we're incredibly ahead of his 7-8. We're incredibly ahead of his 7-8 diamonds even.
Yeah, I put it in on the river though. You have 43% equity with the range that I assigned him, which is about the same as what you got. So I mean, it's still
On turn.
on the river. No, so like if you
But
just
he's
make
a maniac, he could just have
Oh,
ace
on river.
off.
Oh, yeah.
Or
and then what are your pot odds on the river?
I think the 30%, but Andy thinks they're
7-4
27.
clubs.
So
Go
we'll
to
say
it.
we'll compromise at 28.
Go to the river for me real quick. I'll put it in the calculator.
9 of hearts, which brings in the 7-8.
So you got 188 to call 413.
The 7-8 would like be pretty.
I got it
scary.
at 31%.
What else is he bluffing on the turn? You know, like he donks on the flop, two people call in the 5 pairs, so he should be scared of one of them having a 5. He's still
And he doesn't give a
he's still
fuck.
gotta have a lot of like equity draw, you know, like either diamonds or the 7-8.
31.2%, Scotty. You were
Yeah.
right.
So based off of the pot odds and the equity that I assigned, you should call technically. But
Because of the range, we've
Yeah,
got what equity? We've got 43% equity and we're getting 31%.
Yeah, technically. I gave him a range of missed flush draws down to like king six.
Yeah.
I gave him ace six, and then I gave him some over pairs that didn't include tens plus and a bunch of suited connector area shit that connects to the board and
Yeah, I think we maybe can call off here
Thanks.
Like
against
ace
a
four
certain hand.
clubs.
against another player. I'm just snap folding.
Yeah, against some fucking maniac though. We can make this call.
Yeah, that's a hard spot. I mean,
But yeah, it is a hard spot. I think turn is interesting. I think turn maybe we get the shove against this player class. It does make our life easier. And that's not the right reason to do it. We know, but yeah, it's a tough spot. Anyway, all right. I
It's scared
I
of that
think
big
we can
over
hero
the
here. I
turn.
think you're right. I think we're getting the price to hero.
Even on the turn, like, is he betting his overpair after two people call in a five pairs?
That's an
That's
excellent
scary as
question.
fuck.
The-
And also, like, is he not three betting a lot of his eights, nines? He might even, a maniac might even three bet sevens here. Is he just like
Yeah,
passive?
I mean,
passive
so
and
this
not
does scream
three
strength,
betting?
right? He just potted it into two people.
Hmm.
He does not give a fuck.
And that's
It's a
like a
tough one.
fucking super draw, like a 7-8 of diamonds, or he donked with like ace five on the flop. and-
Yeah, I kind of am
You
getting
know?
stuck on 7-8 diamonds here. That seems like the kind of thing that you would do this with, and then you're just like, I'm gonna triple. I mean, I think
like,
7-8
overpair
diamond
would-
makes a lot of sense.
Maybe like a 4x, 3x of some weird shit that he has like
Maybe like
that.
king four, or
Yeah,
king
diamonds.
three, or ace, we can't have that. King four, king
You can,
three
like-
diamonds.
You could still have ace four of clubs and still want to do it with the gutter,
Yeah,
maybe blocking ace
I
five.
kind of like a shove here. But it does just, it's kind of like. It's hard to get called by worse, but if we get called by worse, we have to do what Bozabub says, and we have to. We have to get ready to hero river. Yeah, alright. Okay, that's my two hands. We've got some more time and you've got more hands, right, Brian?
yeah, I do. Let me wash my hands real quick. My actual hands.
Okay. Alright, no worries. Wash your hands. Alright, so Brian's gonna go. I might just show another hand. While he's washing his hands. Let's see which one's more interesting. Alright, we'll end it with what is a good bluff, and then we'll hand it over. This is a pretty quick hand, and then we'll hand it over to.
All right, I actually have to peel out, gentlemen. You guys have a great weekend and run good.
Alright, Andy, good. Are you gonna play this weekend?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I gotta get in the shower and hit the room at 4.
Alright, well, do us a favor. Yeah, bring back some hands.
All right, I will open up the Fast Roll app and I will save some hands.
Alright, well played, sir.
That's what it's called. I need that app.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Like really good.
I keep forgetting to download it.
Alright,
I
so,
like it. And the input's super easy. All right, guys, run good this weekend.
alright, man, good luck.
All right, later.
Alright, so. Last hand, and then we've got a limper. Got king nine, we're gonna ISO. We ISO. I like my size with the straddle on. You get a call for the big blind. And now we're heads up. We get this flop that I might have showed you the guys that's hand. I check. He bets small, he bets quarter pot, and I say, fuck you. Eat some of this. I go to 50. He calls. We want to have something that helps us on turn. And do we get it? We don't, but I don't give a fuck. So I bet 3/4 pot. I was like, Solver uses 3/4 pot in this situation a lot. I think it makes sense, and we get the fold. So the two, I think, was so brickish it allowed us to make this play.
There we go.
All right.
Larry
All
with
right.
the bluff.
Yeah, there's my bluff. All right. I am going to stop sharing.
Okay, let me get my hands up real quick. All right, so we got some multiple punting, I believe, and some just unfortunate spots.
Share your screen.
Oh yeah, my bad. Where's my screen? There it is. That one. Okay, so we have a jacks.
You like jacks?
Yeah,
Jiggities.
I think I remember this hand. So I opened big. There was a straddle. I'm pretty sure there was a straddle on for why I just
Okay.
opened directly to 15.
So you are third to act and you open to 15.
Yes, these two
Folded.
played these two fold, and then I opened to 15.
Jesus.
All right,
One time.
we don't hit, but we get a pretty solid flop.
You
And
do. You got
I
60 bucks in the middle and you've got 400 bucks behind and you got the short stack.
yeah. So this guy's a total fish. First time ever playing at a card room or anywhere other than his friends. Kept like picking his hands is up off of the table to look at his cards, and we're like, "Hey man, you gotta keep it down." He has no tools, but it's okay. He was a cool guy. I personally, I come out and bet here, and I bet somewhat bigger for at least what I would normally do, and I kind of like a check here. I think because this is a board that's gonna get stabbed a lot. And I think that I can check raise because I want to get this heads up. I don't want to play this multi-way and start seeing a whole bunch of fucking cards coming out. With
I like a check raise here. I think I prefer check raise too.
personally, I agree. I think I should check raise, but we get called in 4 positions.
Jesus.
This is exactly why we wanted to check raise.
All right. So now, so the thing that's bad about this is that you don't have any information about where these guys are in their range, right?
Exactly. And this is
If
where
you check, oftentimes, especially multi-way, they're gonna oftentimes let you know where they are with their sizing.
yeah. So that's why I don't like the lead on the to continue on
So
the
this 9 is kind of brickish. I mean, it brings in some straights, but we shouldn't have any straights here.
I just don't multi-way. I check here because I don't.
I think I would check here pure
I'm not loving where
facing
I'm at
this
right now.
much
Yeah,
action.
and it checks through. So now I'm like, okay, and get this river, which
So you have 200 bucks in the middle. You have 200 bucks back, about. And I would check and see what happens here.
I do, and this guy bets $5.
Yeah,
And this guy, so I marked him as he is under bluffing on the river because I saw him get there multiple times with air and give up. So I know he is not bluffing on the river.
good on you for not being on your phone and paying attention. All right, so this guy
He raised
raises.
50, which is a substantial size for the game. I mean, these guys, I'm the only person there that starts putting in like actual bet sizes. So it's,
This is a great game you got, man.
yeah. And I keep getting crushed for the last week, which is pissing me off. So he folds, and I'm sitting here like, is there any value? Like, I convinced myself into a call here, which,
I think this is a fold.
yeah, it's a fold 100% all day. This is a fold. And I convinced myself into a call that somehow he hit a 9 or had a 7 and is now betting for value on the river. But this guy would never do that. He would have called the $5 and just been fine with it and seen the showdown. So
Yeah, so this is not
yeah,
essentially you could treat the fish's bet as a check and look at this as a value bet.
yeah,
but
this
it-
is a value
it-
bet, 100%.
But you can actually it's different than that. You can look at it more than that. He's got dick value here. I mean, Gene, I think he has 6s some here. This is gonna be slow played 6s, slow played 7s,
He's
at
got,
least a queen X.
yep. So
Yeah, you gotta fold multi-way.
I pay him off That is queen.
So let's think about what he is doing here. Let's break this down and think about how we can get to a fold. So let's go back to river. So bring it back to, okay, so let's bring it back to before anything goes in on river. So here, I think you have two options. You can block, fold to a raise, or you can check and see what evaluates. So block here that I think would make sense, 200 bucks in the middle, 180. I think a block of like 30 to 40 makes sense. Fold to a raise, or a check and evaluate. I think I prefer this massively multi-way to check and evaluate. And we
Yeah.
have two people interested in the pot. This guy's raised also with someone, with two people yet to act, right? He's raised and he is not concerned that there's two people who have yet to act.
Okay, but
Specifically, you've acted, you checked, but specifically Button, which is not yet acted, and he's still gonna value raise. You can
Mm.
fold.
the description of this player was basically he is just doing something, right? He's not really thinking what he's doing here.
Yeah, he has no idea. He's basically has no idea what's even happening.
He's like, oh, I put some chips in it. Good.
Yeah, I mean, and I did see him prior. I let him make a fucking full house on me like an idiot, and he bet like 25. So it's just not value here. But yeah, so I think that this is just a. I checked here to see what happens. I saw what happens, and I needed to just put my hand down. That's the biggest problem. As Larry probably has seen, and you're probably starting to see, Bob, is that I don't like folding, and I don't like losing pots. So I generally do whatever it takes to win the pot. And this is a specific spot where, honestly, I don't like what I did here. But
Scotty, you said you don't like a block bet here on the river. Multi-way.
I don't either.
I thought about a block bet. This is Larry, by the way. It just says Scotty because I'm hosting.
Oh, okay.
But I think I think block is okay with a heavy, but you have to absolutely fold to a raise.
Yes, and I could at least explain why I like a block, because you said player 6 would call with a 9 or 6 or 7, and it doesn't look like that these players at the table would ever bluff raise you, ever.
Yeah.
That never happens, right? So if they raise, they have a queen or a straight set something, and then you can easily fold, but you will get called by a 9, maybe by a 7. So I don't hate block betting.
Yeah, I like a block. I like a block. A block, I think your choices here are block or check. But I think when you block and you get this action behind, you just fold.
Yep, I agree. This is just a fold all day.
So, I mean, so the one argument that Bozabub is making, which I think is good, it just a block clarifies their range, right? We know that a raise in this massive multi-way is rarely a bluff. So if you block here and you get raised, you could maybe, this is maybe an option to help you fold when you should.
I've started to build a thought process for this is, okay, you have identified this player as this type of player. Where are we at? What happened? Like basically, what did they do on the flop? What did they do on the turn? And what are they now doing on the river? You identified this guy is never bluff raising the river. He especially, and he doesn't even do a heads up. So he's not doing it into two players. So you just fold. You put the fucking hand down. And I convinced myself that I beat some value is basically what happened.
So the way to think about this is the way to think about this is the multi-way pot. And there's a guy, Joey. Dean, you remember Joey, right? Dean probably remembers Joey. Oh yeah, maybe you started coming after Joey left.
Yeah.
Joey left to become a priest. Anyway, Joey was a old school poker player, and he said, When it's multi-way and multiple people are putting money in the pot, your pair ain't good.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, I think the one thing you have to focus on here is your multi-way. This guy's taking an aggressive action. He doesn't have bluffs, as we've already established. So it's hard for you to beat value. His value is very strong here when he has button yet to act.
Yeah. I mean, I just need to listen to myself.
So yeah, I mean, so the question becomes now, how are you, let me ask you this, because I can learn from this and we all can learn from this. How are you going to think about this hand next time?
Next time, number one, I started doing this after our last session was, okay, have you identified this player? Yeah, like their tendencies. Okay, you identified them as a passive player. Okay, what situation are we in? Do they ever population? What does population do here? Okay, population does this. Does this guy play like population? Yes, he does. Does he have? Does population ever bluff this situation? No. And have you proven that this guy specifically will ever bluff this situation? Like, yes, I know that he's not bluffing this situation because I already identified it prior in the session by watching and paying attention to showdowns. So now this is just an overfold here. And then it's like, okay, do I beat any value? No, I don't. This guy's not. If he has a 9, he's just going to call the $5 and move on.
Yes, so
He's not
the question for you to ask here is exactly that. Am I beating value when he makes this aggressive action? And the answer is no.
No, never. And I convinced myself that, oh, he might do this with a 9.
You've got, your
That's-
hand's a bluff catcher in a spot where he's not bluffing.
Yep.
And that's really what it comes down to. Your hand is a bluff catcher in a spot where he's not bluffing.
I need to start laying the fucking hand down. That's what I need to start doing.
Yeah, so ultimately good poker players maximize their winnings when they can, have a good bluffing frequency, and minimize their losses when they need to minimize their losses. This is a spot where you can minimize your losses because of the dynamic of the table here.
Yep. And I need to just, start doing that. I need to start laying it down more. I'm getting a little bit better with it, but
Dean is saying 201. Dean is saying essentially, yeah, he also sometimes has issues laying it down. And I do too. We all do. But I think here you just listen to what's going on. I mean, I called off some fucker with top pair, good kicker, who lived trapped aces last time I was there, because he had such a small stack, and I doubled him up because I wasn't listening to what he was saying when he was betting massive multi-way.
that's what I think too. Sometimes I do make calls where they don't have much behind. Like they could be just getting it in here with single pairs. Let's call it off.
Yeah, I think that's an error too. I think we need to overfold a lot.
I need to identify, but there are players that I do call off with top pair, good kicker, because I know that they do this when they're short stacked, they hit the board, they're putting their money in. So,
Yeah, so this guy sat down to my direct right, and he was high as fuck. Glassy eyes, it was a little bit woozy.
yeah,
And sat down with $100, and he limped UTG. I had king 10 off. I call next to act. 3 or 4 callers. Pot comes out 10 low. He bets like $25. I call, and then he shoved his last remaining 60 on turn. And I call. Oh, he checked. Yeah, he checked. He checked flop. Checked around. I didn't value bet. There were like 4 people in it. He bet $25 on turn. I call. And then river becomes a repeat, like 8 or something. So it's like 10, 8, 8, 6, 2. I call him off and turns over aces. And I'm like, fuck, of course you flop. But I think I can overfold there. I think I can overfold on river. I think I can call turn, overfold on river.
that's the thing is when I look at solver, a lot of the things I do aren't really like bad, but you can't give a shit what solver does when like that's how you beat these people is by just exploiting them.
Well, the one thing you do relative to solver is you try to reach his bluff frequency, which is very hard for any of us to do, but you dramatically overfold relative to solver.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of spots where I make calls that there's nothing wrong with the call I made. I just know the entire time I'm beat. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm supposed to
Yeah.
make this call. It's like, fuck that. Who cares what I'm supposed to do? I know
Yeah,
I
I mean, the
stop.
one thing, I think the most damage that Solver does is that it has a calling frequency that none of us should anywhere get close to facing aggression.
Because it's protecting its range against balanced
Yeah.
opponents. But
Mhm.
these people aren't balanced. They're nothing even close to balanced. So stop trying to play like they're a balanced opponent. They're not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I think, yeah, so the takeaway from this is your second pair is never good multi-way in that situation. All right, we'll call this the last hand for today. Last hand goes to Brian. And then
See.
keep your other hands around because we'll look at them on Monday.
Oh, where's a good one? Where's I think this, which one is this? So this guy, like, he's very emotional. Like, he usually comes and he plays any two cards, and he thinks he's really good. Is one thing. Is it like he's like, oh, it's like you guys just don't know how to play these types of cards. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever you say, buddy. But I continue to reinforce it because whatever, dude. You want to keep playing any two? Eventually, I'm gonna crush you because of it. But haven't crushed him yet because he keeps drilling fucking two pair on me. But he's very passive, so he'll flop two pair and I'll bet, and then he'll donk river, and then I call him off. And
So we've done a lot of work with donks in here, right?
decent bet.
So were you here when we did the deep dive on donks on the ignition? Hands up.
What?
Were you around for that?
What did you say? I didn't hear
So
you.
here, were you around when we did kind of the poor man's mass data analysis where we looked at where I think Mike filtered for river donks
Yeah,
and we spent like 2 sessions looking at them. Do you remember that?
I think so. Yeah, I think I was there for that.
And we came to the conclusion that river donks are just massively underbluffed
Yeah.
and we can dramatically overfold.
Yeah, and I just from pattern recognition while playing in the last month, it's a very obvious. I could have missed that entire thing and figured that out because I just have run into it so many damn times that I just know it's underbluffed unless I specifically tag a player, which I have one player tagged as river donking as a bluff one time. I've seen him do it. So that's the one player, but everybody else I've never seen them do it as a bluff. So we raised to 15 on the flop. That's
All right, so let's go through so let's see the hand again. Let's see pre-flop action. I was talking so much. Okay, so we got some limpers. This guy, okay, okay, cool. Yeah. And then this guy calls you. All right, he wants to see a flop. Top pair, good kicker. Somewhat wet flop. All right.
So this is the one thing that I have questions about against this specific player. So a lot of Hungry Horse and stuff like that is bet small here to get him to raise off his good hands, like two pair plus. I've played with this guy plenty to know he does not raise his two pair. He hits it all the time and he does not raise it. So when I bet here and he doesn't raise, even on this board, he just does. He has all two pairs in his range. He might raise off sets, but I haven't seen him make any sets.
All right,
He
so he's
plays
got
dog shit.
He's got everything available to him. Okay.
So he's still uncapped, but I have top pair, top kicker.
All right, this is a good turn.
Yeah, I have top pair, top kicker. I'm not going to stop betting because this guy could possibly have two pair.
All right, so he's got king 9 here probably, or like 9-6 suited or something. But I think let's talk about what we can do here. So you bet 3/4. All right, cool. He calls,
and now alarm bells are going off in my head because he does. But I have seen him like he will make laydowns with a weak king here. So like I know that he'll do that. It's not outside of his thing, and he specifically says, "I don't like to get into pots with you." Talking to me, very.
That's the best compliment you can get from someone, by the way, at the table.
Well, he says, "Oh, he's always like, I don't want to He's like, this is the problem. Is every time he does this, I don't want to get into this, but I'm okay with it. It's fine. So I bet 50 here, and now the alarm bells are going off in my head because I'm like, what the hell does he call me with here? I mean, he has some draws still, but he'd probably call me with a diamond draw, but I think his weaker kings have already folded at this point. He's got 2 pair plus still. He didn't raise because that's the way he plays. And we get 10. And now he donks small, which is like, all right, he's not betting that
Well, I
big.
think we just call.
Yeah, we call it off, but this is exploitatively. I need to be folding.
Let's look at his size here. What size did he bet on river?
35 into fucking 170.
So your pot odds here are ridiculous. Your pot odds are like. So when he bets, what's the pot size? It's 209 or something.
when after he bets,
He
I
bets
have to call.
20% or something, so right? 20%.
See, did you say I have to call? But I know I'm beat. Like when he does this,
Well,
what do I? Can I really?
Yeah,
Yeah, but if you're like not beat once out of 50 times, you're still like making money or whatever, right?
so your equity requirement here is 15%. So if you you only have to win this like a ridiculous amount for it to be profitable, right? You're getting
Yeah,
6 to
like
1.
most times you're gonna lose, but you just need to win one time to be profitable or whatever, you know? Like that's the whole point of taking small bets. Like you can exploit, but then
So
you're just gonna exploit
10%
a
would be
ton.
1 out of 10 times. Right, so you have to win this.
So what if I say this? I know he is never bluffing into me as a donk here, and I know he has 2 pair plus every single time he donks into me.
Then you have to
Can I
fold.
profitably just fold? Because I
Yeah.
feel like I can in this situation when it's like, all right, I bet,
Yeah, you gotta
bet-
win 1
bet.
out of 6 times. You gotta win more than 1 out of 6 times.
and I think that he is never bluffing here, and he is never doing
6
this
to
with less
1.
than 2 pair. So
But could you do is not even with king queen? That's the thing. If it could beat a little bit of value here, that's never folding. But
Yeah.
if it's actually 2 pair plus and he's never bluffing, I mean, clearly you have to fold.
Yeah, if it's never king queen, then
I'll keep watching him, but I've noticed that I watch him do this with everybody else. He's done this to me before, where it's I bet I have a good hand. I'm gonna keep building the pot. River comes around, he's out of position. He donks into me. 2 pair. 2 pair.
So
2 pair.
the one thing to think about here is like, you had queen 3, do you have queen 3 off, queen 3 suited?
No, king 3 offsuit.
Fucking insane. So, the one thing to think about here is you can fold, but you have to think in your head, this is a significant adjustment to what I should be doing. Because the pot odds are 6 to 1.
Yeah.
But you have to win more than 1 out of 6 times there.
I'm gonna keep watching before I make the adjustment to
But
confirm.
I think folding here is fine, but it is a super significant, it is a major adjustment.
yeah, if he never has king queen here and no bluffs, then yeah, fold. Or even king jack, like if he doesn't have king jack, because jack that blocks jack queen.
And one thing I want to say about the flop is just, if he's actually never raising, I would just bet bigger against him on the flop. Just go bigger.
No,
Why?
but if
That
you
doesn't
go
make any
bigger on the
sense.
flop and he check raises you, are you folding?
If I bet big and he check raises.
A basket bub.
Oh, I was about to say.
Yeah, I mean, so I
He
understand it
gets
that
here
way.
and
He will never check raise 2
That kinda-
pair.
The purpose. If he never check raises 2 pair, I put more money in. The pot just keeps getting bigger, and he never has to show me how strong he is. And
That
I
is
lose
true.
more money.
Yeah, but he will never put you. So first of all, with ace king, I mean, he will not only call 2 pair here, right?
That's true. He won't only call 2 pair.
And if he's never raising, I mean, somehow we want to build a pot against a lot of hands that we beat. He can still have king jack, king 10. I mean, heck, he can have king 4 offsuit or king 5 offsuit. So I would bet bigger against this opponent on the flop. And now I would barrel again on the turn, and after he calls, I mean, yeah. Let's see. But
Also watch like if he like is doing that on these type of flops where it's like a wet board, like he's scared that if he does, he could still get beat by diamonds on later rivers. Maybe he's the type to like watch until the river to make sure it's clean to get money in. But maybe like a king 8-3 rainbow flop, he will check raise because it's just like a little bit difference.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen
Scared
him
of the
check
turn,
raise.
you know.
I'm trying to think if I ever seen him check raise. I think that part of this should be that I should just ISO to an even larger size. He calls me with dog
Yeah.
shit all the time. Just
Yeah.
keep
Oh yeah. I
ISOing.
didn't know there was like all these limpers before. I thought it was just blind versus blind. I didn't see the.
Yeah, well, if
That's-
that's the case, then you should, because your equity on flop is 80%. You're looking 80-20.
Yeah, and I think that I already sized up here because he keeps calling me with dog shit that I'm beating, and I'm okay with it. But I do want to make sure things go heads up, and I have a better hand than him. He opens his strongest hands. He raises like the absolute strongest. So he is not top of range. I'm top of range. I can raise big as shit. He'll call me with his dog shit hands, and 90% of the time he won't drill 2-pair with king 3, and he'll have some sort of hopefully a king 5, and I have ace king, and I'll get 2 streets out of him, and he'll shut down on the river and fold to me.
Yeah, that's going to happen a lot, and you're going to lose like this hand, but then there's going to be a ton of those type of hands where you get your money back from him, you know, and more.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
80% of the time here, you're going to win. So you just wanna. This
Well,
sucks, but
let
I
me
mean,
tell you
the
guys-
only answer is,
Also
I mean, the
keep
only
pushing
real
the
question to
limit.
me on this hand
Just
is
check
like,
the fucking, keep checking. Like, who cares? Like, go up to 30. Like, just see what he will, you know, what they do fold, what he will fold, and just like go right under that. Just
Yeah.
like get max as you can.
I know we said this would be last hand. I have one more if you guys want to look at it real quick. It's a interesting
Oh,
one.
yeah?
It was
Yeah,
the
well-
hand.
sure, last one, last hand. Let's go, Brian.
It was the hand directly before this, and that's why the last hand. This is why the
All
last
right,
hand.
so you're limping threes early position. All right. Not the worst. All right, not the worst when we get this flop. Very interesting flop.
This is the passive guy that I just played against.
Passive guy donks into 4 people.
I'm building the pot right away. I'm not slow
Yeah,
playing.
yeah, you can raise this.
So this guy barely understands the game, from what I can tell. You always have to say like, "Hey, you're the big blind. Hey, you're the small blind. It's your turn to bet." Like
Yeah,
stuff like that. This is where red lights should just flag should be flown, saying, "There's a big problem here, Brian. Like, watch the fuck out." When this guy, first of all, live read, I raised to 50, and he looks like he wants to like grab all his chips at first and start
Mhm.
pushing them, and then he just counts out a call. And I'm like, okay. Well,
interesting.
I was like, I don't love that. But then once he counts out the call, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Trying to figure that out. We get folds to here. And then we get a queen. I don't think
Alright,
this.
get a brick.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here like trying to range him. I'm trying to think of what the hell he has here that
He's
it
got a
looks like.
lot of flush draws. If he's really bad, he's got a lot of 4x. And I think what you're gonna tell us is that he flopped straight.
No, of course not. Why would that ever happen to me?
Pair the
So
board one time. So I think that you don't worry about bounces on the bed and you value bet here. You bet a size that makes it unprofitable. Yeah, it's good size. Unprofitable for flush draws to call, but you want them to call. So yeah. Oh, he raises you here. All right, this is very bad.
I almost fucking folded too. I'm sitting here.
So what are your odds here? So 420, you got to put in 100, right?
To win 520.
So you call, but you now need to designate your hand as a drawing hand, and you're getting the odds to draw to a boat.
This is something I need to stop doing is just I'm just like
Well, look how much he has behind. That's part of the problem here.
that's exactly why I do this. And I just say, all right, it's all in. I convinced myself that somehow he didn't flop a straight. This guy flopped a straight
He
every
just says 5-6, yeah.
fucking time. He has a straight every single time. I know he has a straight every single time. I can call, and I mean, I lose an extra 75 here because of it, but I should just call and somehow lay down the river.
This is a cooler. Ace five, yeah, there it is.
Mm.
So, your other option is to raise this hand. I mean, this is just a cooler. I don't think you can get too upset with this.
See, I'm starting to make the adjustment that I'm just sick of flop. I've gotten, it's frustrating because I don't think I have won with a set yet since I started playing live. I think I know one time when I drilled the set on the river and won.
That's
Otherwise,
painful.
I have yet to win with a set, and I made two yesterday and lost with both of them and just got absolutely destroyed. It's so frustrating. So
That's
It is frustrating losing with a set. So, you've got the odds to call here because he's offering you, his click gives you pot odds of 20%.
I mean,
I think it's very hard though to lay it down when he bets.
what am I going to do? Call here and lay it down to 75 on the river?
Yeah, maybe you're shoving, you can't fold because you're getting odds. I think putting it in is fine because it's just like, what are you gonna do when the pot's 400, 520 and he puts in 75? Well, you're gonna call. So I think we all just lose our money here. We just lose it different ways. I think your shove is okay because of what he's got behind.
Trying to think like exploitatively. Can I just check this turn? When I see him make that move,
Yeah, you can.
I'm pretty like concerned
Uh-huh.
now. I'm not loving the spot I'm in. Even him, he's so passive. I don't think he's calling 50 with any draw. Maybe ace six of clubs or ace. I mean, ace five is already a straight, drawing to a straight flush.
What
I
about
basically
pocket
am
fives?
like, all right,
What
he's
about
got
pocket fives?
fours. What's up? Go ahead.
I said pocket fives. Just open-ended straight.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he is. He's so passive, and I've seen him play where he's just.
I don't think you should get too upset about this. This is a cooler. You can't
You should
fold
be
this hand
mad
here.
about limping though.
Yeah,
Well-
maybe you
Well,
maybe you just can't limp this. Maybe you open
That's an
to,
adjustment I recently made. Is I usually open. Honestly, I open almost every pair just because, especially if it's deep. If we're all deep, I'm opening every single pair to try and make sets. At this point, I should probably stop trying to make sets because I just lose all my money when I make sets.
well,
But-
in theory, this is a fold this early.
Mm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's got
So-
reverse side odds.
Yeah, so I just
But this is a fold not because there's so many people. This is also a fold because you're likely to play out of position.
yeah.
So
think-
I would think you can just fold. I think if we even look at like Chippy V here, it becomes a fold.
Yeah, I think there's adjustments that I personally think that I'm starting to loosen up too much, and I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, tighten up,
Yeah.
tighten up. Tightening up is important.
I switched. I made that adjustment most of the day yesterday, and I just slowly stacked chips like I did when I first started playing live. I would slowly stack up, get it in good, bluff people when I have the opportunity, and
Mhm.
now I've gotten too comfortable and start to play looser because I'm able to dominate people generally post flop when I get it heads up. So I try to take advantage of that and play more hands, especially if I'm card dead for a while. I'll start to, play some shit that I shouldn't be playing. And it's getting me into trouble because I'm just getting in. I've been coolered like 4 times with sets at this point, 5 times with sets, I think it is at this point.
Well,
and I'm getting-
that's just bad luck. I think you did some bad variance, man.
yeah, that's
One of the keys in this game is to separate poor play from bad variance. And
I
I
think
think
there's a-
this
it's
is
a
more
combo,
just
though.
unlucky than it is poor play.
But I think it's a combo. Like you see me I've made a lot of bad. Like you see me make total blunders. You saw that one where I blundered with the 10. So like that's bad play. It's a combo. Like yeah, she rivered it on me, but I should be raising that turn every time. So it's A combination of both, and I don't want to blame it only on variance because how am I ever going to get better if I sit here and say, "Oh, it's just that everyone else sucks and they're hitting all these stupid."
Yeah,
hands."
that's very dangerous, but the other option is we need to find some kind of medium where we understand. I mean, you've got an incredibly strong hand here on a very wet texture. He doesn't have bluffs, but he's giving you a price to call. And I don't think is anybody here, or Brian, I mean, you're Brian.
Yeah.
Dean or Bozabub, are either of you guys finding a fold at any point in this hand?
No,
I think I can. That's the thing is I can. I
No,
think
you can't fold this hand. You can't fold this hand and you
But-
can't. You
But they
can't,
were
just
and it's
talking
better to
about-
shove when he only has 75 bucks left behind on. You got cooler here. It's
On the
gonna
other
happen.
hand, it was like blind versus blind, and you were going to fucking fold because the guy only donks on the river and never bluffs. If this guy never bluffs though either, if he never has a in position raise bluff, you got to make an exploitive flip fold too, just the same.
that's what I agree with Dean here is that I think that I can make these folds because. But the thing is, I'm also like the problem with having a set here is I'm
You're
getting
the odds to boat up.
to
yeah,
vote up.
yeah. I mean,
Sure.
you could just call and don't jam the turn. That's all. But you cannot
And then
fold
what?
there.
Fold to 75 on the river, which
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
is good.
clearly when it's only a straight, I mean, yes, but you got odds to call, so it's pretty hard to.
But you also went against your re where you saw the guy grabbing for chips and you knew he was like super strong there and you decided to bet into him anyways.
Yeah, I
That's
was
why you made the
I
mistake.
convinced exactly. I convinced myself that he's on a draw when if I slow down and think about it, okay, I have a strong hand. That's one thing I need to do is slow down with strong hands. I'm usually thinking about sizing to try and get the money in, not thinking, okay, what do they have? What can they call? What would they do? Why, like this read I got, why am I, maybe let's think about that for a second.
You
Like,
probably still lose it though if you check and he bets.
I think we come to the
Then you
conclusion,
can sit
none
on
of
the
us here
river.
are
I think
getting
I
away
can
from
lose
this
less
hand.
if I check and he bets. I don't think he's going to go to the sizes that I go to. He's not that type of player.
But
He's
I mean,
gonna,
he'll still end up betting and then betting on, he'll bet two streets still, like bet on the turn and the river, getting it in on the river probably.
I don't even
So
think he
still-
would. That's the thing is I think against this specific
Go ahead
player.
and trade really quick. Let's just see, what was the pot before you put in 100? Like, let's just guess how much he would bet.
Like he'd bet. I think he'd bet.
Pot, and he has 275 left.
I think he's gonna bet like 50 because that's what they do. They don't go crazy usually, and they'll call you off when they have the nuts, but they don't really. I mean, like I saw the guy, he called with a full house earlier and didn't jam, and he had the guy dominated. He had top boat, and he called with full house, didn't jam, and he says the greedy get needy. That's what he always says. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on? So here in this situation, I think I can check call if I don't boat up and lose the minimum with pocket threes. I mean, the only thing that convinced me in my head is what if you flop twos?
Yeah, but if he bets 50 and then he has 220 left and there's 220 in the pot, what is he going to bet on the river? Like 200 and leave some behind, or is he going to bet 150? Or is he
I mean,
just
look what he did. Look
hoping
what
for
he
a check
did here.
back?
He raised the 200, didn't jam it in. He
Yeah,
only
I
had
know.
5. So I think that he can, what, if it's 120 and he bets 50 or
Mid-click.
60, if he bets 50 or 60, we got, what, 220 in the middle here on the, and then the river comes and he's still got 200 behind. I don't think he's gonna jam still, just because that's not the way he is. So I can check, and he probably bets another $50 again, and then I
But
call.
what was the river? The 7 of hearts. He might even check it back. Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably would have lost a lot less. He probably would have checked back those type of guys see the hearts and they're just so scared and they just will check back like the nuts, ace-5 nuts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is here. I don't think I did anything technically wrong, but I think that based off of what I know about these people, I've played with this guy before too. This isn't the first time I played with him, and I know that it's just he's got me beat. there's like one hand, there's like two hands I could think of before he raises me on the turn. There's two hands that like two or three hands that I beat. It's pocket twos and 4-2 or 3-3-2 or 3-4.
Fives, aces.
No,
You could have limped. You could have limped behind aces. No,
actually
and
that's
limped
actually
strong on the flop.
that's true. I will say that because I have seen him limp aces, but that's true. He did limp. I have seen him limp aces, so it's possible that he has aces.
Well, let's
So-
get this back to first principles. Can you fold turn?
Turn?
Check.
No, I have to try to draw to my boat.
Yeah, so you can't fold turn. So your only adjustment here is to just call turn and overfold dramatically on this bad river. But I
my
think he made a good point. He
adjustment-
might check back on the heart completer and allow you to realize your equity. So maybe the adjustment is just to call turn, even though it's kind of ridiculous with him only having $75. But we know you can't fold given that price.
No,
The
no,
click
I
does not allow you to fold because it's 20%.
no,
so the-
I don't think I made like a blunder here. I think I got coolered, but I think there's ways that like when I'm playing in these games where I know I have the idea in my head that I like when I see him do that tell where he almost shoves on the flop and then he goes and counts out. I'm like, okay, he's got something super strong. Maybe I should just check here because he's not the type of player that's gonna.
Well, that
Think
that
about-
is valid. That's a good point. Maybe even though the song is incredibly strong when we know there's two straights available, I guess three, and he's got them because it's a limp pot, then maybe it makes sense to check turn.
Yeah, I think I can just check call down and.
So
I-
maybe the adjustment is you check turn, call his bet.
where he's not going to go
And-
as big as I do, so I can call and probably get great odds to call when he bets like $50.
Yeah, and then you could just you
Mhm.
could just call, you know. So maybe, yeah, so it in game it's hard to do, but one thing we can work on, one thing I need to work on is integrating information, right? So he gave you information on flop where he thought about raising on flop. You saw him do that. So maybe then you integrate that information with the fact that he called your bet, he called your raise, right? So you raise a dunker, right? On flop. Let's go through the action again.
It's just a lead. It's a limp pot.
Okay, so but you raised the lead on, so you raised here, you're just saying, I got a super strong hand. You see him make an action like
Oh,
he's ready
yeah,
to get
yeah.
it in.
Yeah,
And so if you integrate that information into his call of your big raise on flop, maybe then you can choose to check turn. But checking
Mhm.
turn kind of sucks because you've got a double flush draw available.
exactly. That's the other thing that's going through
Oh.
my head is, but the thing is, that doesn't matter when you just know. I mean, the only thing, the only flush draw he has is ace five or 6-5 of clubs. Those are the only two flush draws he has because
Yeah.
Those are straight.
both of them are already made. So, and I'm already dominated by. So I think in that thought process, I should probably just be sitting here thinking, okay, shit, he doesn't have any draws here. He's got a made hand when he goes to look to jam. And he calls my 50 as a super passive player. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, you called your raise on the flop. It's just,
Yeah,
well, the other guy still could jam over the top.
yeah. So on this card right here, I mean, I need to hold a consistent, like what is Hungry Horse always talking about, hold that consistent thought process of when I get that feeling right there on that when he looks like he's about to jam and then he calls, it's a made hand. He doesn't have any draws.
Mhm.
So now you can just check and try to realize instead of fucking being like, oh, okay, I want to bet here to protect my hand because there's a heart draw, a flush draw, and a straight draw, but he never has a flush draw and he never has a straight draw that aren't already made hands. So it's a check
let's-
call, check call.
Yeah, but okay, but if he does bet 50 here, and let's say you do boat up, you might have to donk, honestly.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I'd 100% donk.
Like not
Because I know he's strong. I'm going to donk huge. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
like, is he going to be able to fold his
Five,
fucking?
six, whatever.
Yeah.
Or all
So,
scared.
oh, 100%. I dunk all the time because, like he always talks about, is it minimizes fold equity. So a lot of the time, I don't go for a lot of big check raises with value, which if people were paying attention at all, they would be able to exploit the shit out of me. But I don't check raise huge for value because they just fold massively over fold. So I just dunk big and people call me.
Hmm.
So
Especially this type where if they're on scary rivers, they'll check back like hands they should value bet. Then you need to like donk into them, you know?
yeah, he's the type of player too. If say the board paired with a heart, I would consider actually down betting significantly on my donk because he might get away from his
Mhm.
straight when it rivers with a flush. And if I bet huge, I will scare him off. I know that. So I'd have
And you
to.
know he doesn't have any heart draws, so you know.
Yeah. I mean, if it came out of club, I would think maybe differently because possibly he had a combo that a straight with a flush
Mhm.
draw. But I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm blocking the straight flush too, which would be. I was about to say that'd be really unfortunate if it was the three of fucking clubs, but that's in my hand, so that's good. But yeah, so basically in my head, yeah, I don't think I played it badly. I think that knowing my player pool and knowing the specific players, I can play this hand better. I don't think I made some giant mistake. I just think I can play my hands better, knowing I need to trust myself, number one, and
Yeah.
two, just
Sure reads.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like at this point, I don't even want to sound cocky or anything. I am like telling people their hands when I'm calling them. Like the guy had king fucking three. I said, and he donked into me. I said, "What do you have, king three?" And threw the money in, and he flips it over. I was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
fucking shocker." I'm like, "This is just outrageous." So I need to trust myself.
That one was kind of a shocker though, because he called a fucking,
Not if, not if you play with him enough, you'd see it.
yeah.
And I was at least hoping. I was like, "Please," I said, "Please tell me it's suited." Nope, it's offsuit. I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like this is just outrageous." But it makes me laugh at this point. I
That was good. You beat him a little bit, but keep playing.
yeah, we need to trust.
Okay, the one up that rush beating you.
What'd you say?
I said it's all right. They win a little bit, then they want to keep that rush of beating you. You know, they're like they laugh that they beat you with king three off, and they'll keep playing that trash.
Yeah,
So it's like good for you actually in the long run.
yeah. I mean, that's. I try not to like ever be a dick or anything after. I'm like, all right, there's the whole reason I'm here is because they do this shit. So like,
Mhm.
let's not be a dick. Say a good hand, move on, and be like, all right. Like I say it, and I was so fucking angry sometimes, and I'm just like, good hand, sir. Like you played it great. I'm like you fucking idiot. Like why the hell are you in here with king three fucking offsuit? But whatever. It is what it is. So over
Nice
time,
hand, sir.
yeah, I
How
said.
were you more tilted calling that right there and getting to see, or would you been more tilted? You fold to the like $35 and he flips over a total bluff.
What would have me more tilted? I
And you
think
said,
I would be
"No,
more I was
see
more
that?
tilted calling king three because I know it. If he flips over the bluff, now I have some new information that I can add to make plays now versus to understand where they're at. But when they just show me and confirm exactly what I'm thinking, it doesn't really make me feel all that good. It just makes me angry because I'm like, I know what they have, I know what they're doing, and I'm fucking calling them and giving them money for free.
Yeah, that's
So
huge.
yeah, I'm less angry about running bad or whatever the hell it is than I get angry about playing bad. I don't really care about like when I get coolered, like when I got coolered by this guy. First of all, the guy tried to give me my money back. He's a super sweet guy. I was like, no, dude, like, can't do that. Like, it's and the dealer was like, no, you can't give him money like this and that. So I was like, dude, you keep it. I wasn't angry. I was just like, what the fuck, man? You know, like, run into it like crazy. And I was trying to think, and then I got angry when I thought about how I didn't trust my read on the flop and check back the turn. That's
Mhm.
that's what made me angry. Not that I got coolered. It was that I sat there and had I got a read that I mean, he's not faking these fucking reads. He's not faking this tell. Like
Yeah.
his gut reaction was to start jamming chips in. So I should be taking a second and being like, okay, this is not good. What's going on here? Let's check here, because this guy's super passive, and if he has a monster, I'm okay with losing, getting a little bit less value because of the player type that I'm against, and thinking, all right, this guy's probably got pocket 4s plus. He's got that or better. And even a set, I've seen him play super passively. And a 2-pair, playing super passively, where he's probably not going to be jamming those types of things. So I'm sitting here like, this is probably a straight.
And he's probably not like calling much worse either.
No.
No.
He
If
might have
did
called me
3,
one
4,
time.
might have 2, 3 or something stupid. He might have just like ends up holding that too, like to your big bet. So
I think he might call me those one time, but if I put the $100 in, and in 2, he probably will bet those on the turn after I check. So I just call off with the hand that's hopefully better and expect that I'm beat 90% of the time here, unless I bow it up. So, I was angry with me not trusting myself instead of, and not that I got cooler. It's more of a fuck, what you're up against right now. Why are you making these plays?
no, you just grew up from that. So it was all awesome.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But we'll play tonight, and it's a Friday night, so hopefully a whole bunch of reps. What's up?
By the table around the drinks.
How
I don't ever.
how
really
long are your
drink.
sessions now? Like 6 hours?
Yeah, probably close to 6 or 7. I wonder if you guys have some. I feel like I keep doing the same thing. I've run bad. I think I've run bad and played somewhat poorly in some situations recently. Like, I think it's been a combination of both, but I think I could play better, but I don't think it's like completely attributed to playing bad. I think I've gotten coolered a lot recently. And just, it's just been rough. So I keep doing through the same process of, I get there, I build a stack, don't get into too many significant hands. I run a bunch of bluffs and get them through for smaller pots, take them down. Make a couple of hands, get paid out some decent pots on them. And then I get my stack up to, my stacks, I'm starting to be probably the biggest stack at the table. And then I don't know if maybe I'm getting overly aggressive after that I build my stack, or if I feel like I just keep getting cooler as soon as I build a stack. And then I just sit here in the process of like losing my fucking money. I build it. And I'm like 5 hours in, and I'm like, okay, it's a good table. I'm making money. Let's keep playing. Like I could cash out right now, take my 300, 400 in profit, but it's a good table. Why would I leave right now? I feel good. I feel like I'm playing well, and I don't feel like I'm tired or hungry or anything. So why not just keep playing? And then I get stacked, and something stupid happens where I get coolered, or sometimes it is me being stupid. And then sometimes I'll tilt for like 30 minutes and lose a bit more. And then I walk out and lost 300 instead of fucking walking out 400. And I'm like, all the advice I see is keep playing when you're playing good and you're in a good headspace and you're profitable, and stop playing when you're down. And I'm like, I feel like I need to stop playing when I'm up at this point. Like, I feel like I just need to clock
So there's also, as well as a stop loss, there's also a stop win, right?
Okay.
And also, are there any other poker rooms that you have easy access to from your existing poker room with like within a half an hour, 45 minutes?
I think there's one that's like probably close to an hour, or 30 minutes to an hour. The one I play at now is like 30 minutes.
So one option here is that you work on, so where are you playing now? You're playing at like One-Eye Jacks or something?
Yeah, it's called One-Eye Jacks.
All right, so let's bring up One-Eye Jacks.
You want me to put it on?
Yeah, sure.
Here.
So you can make the choice to do a trick where you say, if I get up X amount of buy-ins, I leave. It could be 3, it could be 4, but you don't have to quit your session. You can take that money, you can leave and go eat dinner, or you can leave and go to another poker room and then come back in 2 hours. And
Hmm.
then if you come back, you might want to ask them tonight. Usually if you come back in 2 hours, you can do the regular buy-in that you do. So I have a rule that if I go up to $1,000, which is for me 5 buy-ins, I walk away. And I either go to another poker room in Austin or I get a drink.
Okay,
Usually I end up
so
getting a drink because I like alcohol, unfortunately.
yeah, I don't really drink much anymore, so I don't.
Yeah,
And I don't
Could-
want to drink when I'm playing.
well, I
But
never drink when I'm playing.
um,
But so one option is to say if you get up to X, like whatever that is, you buy them for 300 probably, right? 300, 500.
I buy in for 300.
So if you get up $1,200 or 1,000, you just walk away. Because you have too much of your
That's
bankroll on the
pretty deep
table.
for me though. I'm generally like up, up sitting around 600 is usually where I start to get is when I'm getting deeper and deeper in the game, and I'm always the deepest.
It sounds like you might be getting a little looser when you get deeper too, when you're on a win run.
A
Hmm.
little winner's tilt.
Yeah, so winner's tilt. Thank you, Dean. So you might want to think about discipline when you're up, and also think about a win stop. Maybe that's 1,000. I mean, for you, maybe it's a little bit bigger. For me, it's 1,000. And then you
Maybe
walk
one
away.
break,
You
just like
walk
a small
away,
break.
and then maybe one thing you can ask tonight is if I leave ask the guy if I leave and come back, how long's to wait before I can rebuy in for 300?
Okay.
And then you reduce your exposure, right? And then you can go from and then if you've got, one of those poker rooms is within driving distance, you can just leave with your 1,000, go to the other room, buy it for 300, play there, and then go back to One-Eye Jacks.
I guess I'd have to go up to the Seminole then. That's probably closer to go up to Hard Rock. I hate playing there though. But yeah.
Or you just leave and have dinner and come back. But so give yourself a win stop as well as a stop loss.
Okay. See, and the thing is, like you recommended me moving down my stop loss, which I have not done, but I kind of do it. So I never will walk out of there with I take 900 with me. I take 3 buys with me, and if I lose, like I'll rebuy, but I will never walk out of there with all 900 gone. And I bring the 900 with me so that if I'm in the situation where I got stacked early on a flip or some shit, and I need to rebuy, I bring my 300, but then I lose a couple of hands and I need to throw another 50 on or something because I refuse to sit with less than 300 at the table. So as soon as I get to the point where I can't sit with 300 is when I leave. So it's like, okay, I'm sitting here.
Makes sense.
So yeah, so like I should never lose my full 900 because I won't sit without 300. So if I'm at the point where I got stacked twice and I'm down 600 something bucks and I only got 200 left, I just take my 200 and leave because I don't want to play. I don't play unless I can do a full buy. So that's kind of where I'm at is I can potentially lose more than 600, but I should never lose 900 because the only reason I have the extra money is to make sure I'm consistently up sitting around $300.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense. I mean, what we saw today, I think, are a lot of coolers. I mean, I don't think you're getting away from sets there. I think maybe there's some adjustments in how you can play it, but it's very hard to get away from that.
Yeah.
I mean, the big adjustment would be checking turn. But I don't think that's a good adjustment because of all the draws that are available. But if his tell tells you, I mean, people flop sets 3% of the time. I think it's about 3%. Same as we flop flushes 3% of the time. Yeah, I think
That
we flop.
second hard draw is meaningless though on that hand. Like just the clubs was the only draw. There was no hard draw that we had to worry about on that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So,
yeah, I mean, I kind of know.
maybe the only adjustment you have on that hand then is that you check call turn.
That's what I think. My adjustment should be not based off of any reason or solver or anything like that. I think that it should be based off of like pure exploitatively. I should just be check calling there, knowing what I saw and trusting what I saw. That's number one thing is I just need to trust myself 90% of the time. is be
Yeah.
like, okay, you know where you're at right now. You know you don't beat anything. I get sticky though. I get sticky, and my bluffs are usually good because I know where I'm at. So I'm able to be like, okay, this guy just doesn't have anything strong, so I can push him off of this pot. But also situations I just get sticky and call and I know where I'm at and I lose. And I need to just start trusting myself in the situations where I'm calling and continue to trust myself in the situations where I'm bluffing.
Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
I think you also mentioned that you start playing pre-flop way looser, right? When you win
Mhm.
more.
Not even just over time of playing here more and more, not as much. Like when I first started, I played because I was RFIing to 5 big blinds or 15 or 7.5 big blinds. So my pre-flop strategy was 3 better fold, always, no calling, and just the absolute strongest hands. Basically playing like a total nit.
Yeah, I mean,
But
is
like
that
here, you
is-
just linked in with 3-3 from like under the gun one. You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly.
So
That's
it's
what I'm saying. I
you gotta
adjusted.
get back. Yeah, adjust back down. Not necessarily all the way knit, but not that wide either. When you're all feeling it, because you're like everybody will fold. You feel like you can beat them post flop anyways. You're like, I know where they're at in the hand. I can bluff them if I want. I can get money from them. Like I can play more hands.
yeah,
That's where it
because
was. And then I trap myself in these situations where I make something strong and I know where I'm at and I just give my money away.
because don't forget when you bluff and you have a strong range, you can still hit something and do better. But if you play too loose hands or too wide of a range, you will overbluff and do it with a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's true. Then that's one of the people who show up with shit often will overbluff.
Yeah. I mean, it's
You always
true.
gotta remember, because like I call too much because I bluff a lot. So I think like in my head it's like people got bluffs like that and they never do. So
That's
it's
what I
like,
think.
you
That's
know,
where I think I'm at too.
that
Keith.
old Scotty mantra too. I'm always bluffing, they're never bluffing.
Yeah, that's what I need to think like is okay, you're probably one of the only people at the table that's making any bluffs in these spots. So stop calling people off. Like you're the only person doing this. They're not doing this.
Overbluff, overfold.
Yep, that's what I think. I got the over bluffing part down. Not the
You do.
not the overfolding. I'm just struggling to get value from my strong hands, but that's also because a lot of time they just don't have shit. So kind of sucks. But
All right, guys, 3 o'clock. Let's call it. I'm gonna stop the recording.
all right, guys. Well, good luck this weekend if you